The Rogue's Baby. A Bad Boy Mafia Romance. By Michelle Love. Prologue. Date, July 19, 2018. Timestamp, 5:38 p.m. To K. McDonough. From A. Dubois. Kieran.
The Lucchesi family has sent an assassin after you. I am assuming that this is an answer to your refusal to work for them. Your continuing loyalty to me is most appreciated. As a courtesy, I will send you what information I have on the hitter. This message will erase and overwrite itself within 5 minutes.
Adrian.
I sit back, sinking into the thick leather-covered padding of my desk chair, and sigh. If my boss was signing his full name on an email, it meant I would be an idiot not to pay attention. The finest hacker and most powerful up-and-coming independent criminal mastermind in the underworld doesn't do that, or call me, his money guy, by my first name, unless he's sounding the alarm. So now some of the local mobsters want to take me out. And all because I refused to launder a pile of cash for Lucchesi after he killed his own guy in a fit of rage. From what I heard, his money guy wasn't even screwing him. Lucchesi just pulled the trigger because he was in a bad mood. And I'm supposed to pick up the slack for his lack of control? Nope. I told him I only work for one guy. Now he wants me dead because I'm loyal. Lucchesi is a real piece of work. I reach into the humidor on my desk and pull out a hand-rolled blunt the size of a cigar, running it under my nose. The mix of cannabis and tobacco tickles my nostrils, and I consider my options for a moment. I really could use the chance to unwind after news like this, especially when I'll soon have a penthouse full of people I have to be easygoing and cheerful with. No. I sigh and lay the potent smoke back in its box. Tempting under the circumstances, but I want my head clear while I figure this out. I'm really not all that worried. I'm Kieran McDonough, a modern wizard of Wall Street and financial right-hand to the most powerful man in the underworld. Next to Dubois, Lucchesi is a violent clown in a bad suit. But even a clown can still cause problems. Like this unknown assassin that the boss just warned me about. I get up and walk across my office to the wall of armored glass that makes up the whole southern face. Far below me, Central Park West bustles its way through the late afternoon. The glass is bulletproof and just polarized enough that no one could get a clear shot through it anyway, but I am still aware of every possible placement for a sniper's nest in the buildings around mine. A man like me makes his fortune by taking every possibility into consideration. Right now, I am faced with too many unknown factors to calculate a course of action. However, I don't expect this to last. I am working for the most brilliant hacker this world may have ever seen, and if anyone can get me the intel I need to deal with this assassin, it's him. I really do hope he hurries up. I can't nag him, of course, but I've been left in a bit of a fix. It's almost time for me to leave my home office and prepare for tonight's party. I haven't canceled one of my ragers since I made it big in the early 2000s. This assassin situation makes me hesitate, though. The last thing I need is for some creep to shoot up one of my parties and end up terrorizing some of the coolest, most interesting, most well-connected people in New York City. Some of them might get hurt, and of course, no one would ever return. I can't let anyone else get drawn into a dangerous situation because a dumbass mobster with an anger problem can't find anyone to launder his money. But at the same time, if I start hiding, it will alert whoever it is that I'm on to them. Not to mention that it will make me the biggest party pooper in my crowd for at least a week. That can't happen, I mutter to myself as I stare down at the crowded street. I have to find a way to head off this assassin instead. Neutralize them. Kill them if nothing else will work. But before I can do that, the boss has to come through with information on who exactly I'm keeping an eye out for. I wait impatiently in my office for over an hour as the sun starts to set outside. In the meantime, I decide on a nice outfit for the party and check with my staff to make sure that we have enough refreshments. Beer, wine, top-shelf liquor, cannabis, hallucinogens, Molly, and of course, enough variations on sugar and caffeine to keep everyone running for the entire night. I have a reputation to uphold, even if I have to spend half the night looking over my shoulder for a potential murderer. Just as I'm debating telling my staff that I am going to be late and that they should start greeting guests downstairs, I get another email from my boss. And with it comes an unexpected attachment, a picture. The assassin's name is Atalanta. She is young, very talented, and apparently comes from a disadvantaged background. Her usual mode of operation is to get close to a man, seduce him, and then kill him as soon as she has him alone. There is a well-circulated rumor that she's never actually let a man, any man, not just a job, do more than kiss her. Apparently, she's willing to enforce that with violence if the issue is pushed. Given that Lucchesi's men are often as slimy as he is, I'm almost certain that a few of them learned this firsthand. I suspect that you will find her among the guests at your gathering tonight. My eyebrows lift. A black widow with boundaries. Intriguing. But is she fiercely guarded when it comes to intimacy, or just completely uninterested in the kind of men she works with? Probably the latter. Lucchesi's guys clearly aren't worth her time, and she likely has no intention of crossing a line with someone she's meant to eliminate. That thought settles something in me. A lopsided smile tugs at my lips. I can handle a woman like that. Women tend to throw themselves at me, chasing rings and the promise of a wealthy future. But I'm not the kind of man who loses his head over attraction. I've stayed in control, though I can't say the same for a few of them. Plenty. And I'm definitely 5 cuts above Lucchesi's people. Not that it took much to be better than them. So let's see what I have to work with, I muse, opening the photograph. My mouth goes dry for a moment. My smile slowly widens as the idea of what to do about my would-be assassin gels in my mind. She's beautiful. Maybe half a head shorter than me, athletic with a thick red braid and big green eyes she lines in kohl. She has those sweet little rose-petal lips that I would love to see parted with desire, and her body's got curves to spare. A slow smile spreads across my face as I study Atalanta's photo. I thank the boss, reassure him everything's under control, and let him know I'll check in tomorrow morning. Then I turn my attention back to her image, my mind already racing ahead. She never lets any man she's after get beyond a kiss, huh? Now I'm grinning. We'll see about that.
Chapter 1. Atalanta.
You sure about this, Johnny? The boss's brother Mario is the cautious type, churchgoer, father of 2, acts as consigliere because he can't bring himself to put a bullet in anyone. Right now, he's twisting his pork pie hat in his hands nervously, like he can smell trouble. He has far more sense than his brother, who is a head shorter than him and twice as wide, and who goes red even at the suggestion that he's misjudged something. What are you talking about? Am I sure? That creep has everything we need to move the cash, but he won't budge. He has to answer for it. I won't let him insult me, and just walk away. The guy works for Dubois on retainer, I say. He'd be going against his contract with the guy to work for us. He already explained this. Johnny, you really want to piss off Dubois by killing one of his best guys? Dubois has gotten too big for his britches anyway, Johnny says. Criminal overlord, yeah right. He expects everyone from every family to give him a cut, especially if we want our information kept out of circulation. He needs to be cut down some, and losing a guy like McDonough will work nicely. The boss juts out his weak chin, jowls sweaty with anger. Work nicely to piss off Dubois, you mean, Mario says. You know how many favors that guy has to call in? Everyone owes him something around here, including some of the guys. I just don't know. I think maybe you should rethink this. He has twisted his hat almost completely around, like he's wringing out a towel. He's going to crush the small brim at this rate. I'm already getting bored. I've been sitting in the boss's overdone black, white, and gold 70s style penthouse for the last 20 minutes, listening to them discuss whether they actually need me for the job. I showed up in my usual disguise as one of Gianni's support staff, in a prim gray suit that isn't too expensive looking, and a pair of round glasses with plain glass inside the frames. But all I have done since sitting down is listen to the two creeps argue. A single glass of champagne, barely touched, bubbles away in front of me as I wait for them to come to a decision. Its sharp sweet smell tempts my nostrils, but I let it sit. I don't drink in the brothers' presence. I have trouble enough not telling them what I really think about them both, without alcohol mudding my judgment. It's even more important that I keep my opinion of the situation to myself. I'm here to act on whatever they decide, not to help them decide it. I really don't care which way they choose to go at this point. Either I'll kill another rich, sociopathic crook for them, and get another $50,000 closer to buying off my debt, or I'll be able to sleep well for another week without the nightmares that come after a mission. When I followed my dad into working for Johnny Lucchesi, I didn't do it because I wanted to be a mob hitter. He doesn't turn women into made members of the mob anyway. I'm technically a freelancer. But I'm a freelancer who started with over $1 million in medical debt thanks to how my dad died, and Johnny holds that marker. So I kill for him. Just like my dad did before me, but without the oaths, the ranks, or the respect. Just a ledger balance, slowly creeping toward the black. 10 souls so far. 10 men who made the world better by disappearing from it. But I still live with the guilt, and wish there could be a better way of dealing with these people besides just offing them. I don't believe in cops. Not just because I wasn't raised to believe in the justice system, but because I've never seen them do anything but bully the wrong people and get in the way. So turning in Johnny won't work either. Especially since his brother would get into trouble too. And then of course the cops would turn on me, because I was conveniently there, and they could just lie about my being granted immunity. That alone makes going to the cops impossible. And yet, I don't like killing people. It makes me sick. I'm just very good at it. And right now, I have to do it. The only other service Lucchesi was willing to accept as payment for my debt horrified me even more than killing people. 10 more and I'll be free. This McDonough guy is potentially number 11, assuming these two can make up their damn minds. I pick the dossier app off the table in front of me and look through it again. There are multiple photos of my target tucked in with the rest of the information, and I have to admit that this eccentric party boy is very easy on the eyes. The photos were taken while he was standing on a balcony in some posh hotel, shirt hanging open with the sleeves rolled, scotch on the rocks in his hand, the fly of his jeans half unbuttoned. He's only a few inches taller than me by the look of it, with thick pavy blonde hair that touches his shoulders, and narrow, sly-looking blue eyes with heavy lids. I lick my lips as I glance at him, tasting the lingering hint of champagne and imagining the scent of his cologne. Though I've never been intimate with anyone in all my 28 years, it's not for lack of curiosity. It really comes down to having basic standards, while somehow spending most of my time with the worst possible crowd. I only want to share that kind of connection with someone I genuinely feel drawn to. Simple as that. But considering I'm constantly surrounded by smirking, overconfident men with shady pasts, and can't exactly date regular civilians without risking exposure, my options have been, well, limited. It doesn't help that the few close calls I've had were anything but magical. Just uncomfortable, awkward, and honestly kind of disappointing. When you've lain there, after some clumsy make-out session, wondering, was that supposed to be something? It starts to take the shine off the whole idea. You start to worry that it's just going to be another selfish experience, where your feelings don't matter. And each time that's happened to me, my standards have quietly gone up, while the chances of anything happening at all have dropped. And that's okay. Sure, I get lonely. I get curious. But even 5 drinks in, I've never been tempted enough to lower my expectations. I've heard the rumors about me, about what I have or haven't done, but honestly, they don't faze me. If anything, they've worked in my favor. You'd be amazed how revealing a man's behavior can be when he thinks he's dealing with someone inexperienced. It lets me know exactly who I'm dealing with, and sometimes that's a valuable edge. Eventually, I realized that holding on to my first time wasn't a burden. It was a quiet kind of power. So I stopped trying to force anything, and just let it be. But I like the idea of getting close to a guy like this, Kieran. Drinking him in, getting some attention, teasing him with kisses. Maybe more for once. Suddenly, I'm thinking of crashing that party tonight, whether they decide to hire me or not. Hell, if it wasn't for the fact that he's a target, I might actually consider sleeping with him. It would be my first time, sure, but he really is that gorgeous. Just the photos have drawn me in a way I haven't felt since I was in high school, and staring at pictures of my latest movie star crush. Maybe I could. Wait, what am I thinking? Focus, Atalanta. This isn't a game. The boss folds his arms, face almost purple now, glaring at his brother, who looks sheepishly worried. I swear to God, if you weren't my brother, I'd kick your ass for second-guessing me like this. At least you didn't do it in front of anybody important. Screw you too, boss. It was ironic. I could turn around right now and blow both of these men's brains out of the back of their heads before they could draw. Yet somehow they saw me as less than them, just a goon, an extension of the boss's will. But contracts end. I won't sacrifice my reputation in the business by killing someone who has me on retainer. But as soon as I pay this creep off, and the families know we're square, Gianni's going to eat a bullet. The Don may even thank me. I know this Dubois guy probably will. I wonder how much he pays for jobs. They are still arguing in circles, and getting exactly nowhere. I'm left wondering, for the 100th time in 3 years, why my father ever pledged loyalty to this man. Deep down though, I know. The way dear old dad got treated by this organization was light years above what I could expect. Because they, like a lot of mobsters, are dinosaurs who see my pretty face and think I can't kill. 10 mobsters have died still thinking that. All right. Johnny sighs angrily. Look, the son of a gun's disrespect has to be dealt with. If Dubois gives me a hard time about it, I can deal with that too. Let's just pay the lady her advance and have her get to work. Finally. How long do I have to complete the assignment? This may take longer than one night. It really depends on how paranoid this attractive target is. If getting under his guard takes a while, fine. Just stay on him until the damn job's done. Don't call me, I'll call you for a report. He grabs a briefcase from the floor beside him and dumps it on the table in front of me. There's your expense account. Go buy yourself a pretty dress or something. I check inside, eyeing the cash. I don't count it, just look through, then close the briefcase and stand. Fine. I'll get to work and hear from you when I do. I stopped being sweet after my first job, stopped being polite after my 7th. I slammed the entire glass of champagne like the contents of a soda can before turning to go. One day I'm going to be free of you all, I think as I walk away, knowing my boss is staring at my butt, and when that happens you're all done. And so am I. I don't know what I will do with my life once I leave Johnny Lucchesi's employ, but I know it won't be this.
Chapter 2. Atalanta.
That night, dressed in a slinky sea green gown I already owned, I stashed my expense fund in the safe with everything else I've been squirreling away. I ready myself to crash a party. I'm as armed to the teeth as my outfit will allow, the strangling cord doubling as a gold lame belt, the pistol in my bag's secret pocket, and various concealed blades. No poison this time. Poison is a cruel death, and I save it for guys who actually hurt people. As far as I can tell, Kieran McDonough is just an unusually talented Wall Street douche who launders money for somebody, and wouldn't do it for the boss when he asked. Single, never married, no known long-term relationships, so nobody in the way. No family to mourn him. More philanthropy than I would expect from a guy this rich and shady. It bothers me that the boss just wants the guy dead because he's loyal to someone else. The boss is constantly talking about how important loyalty is, but he figures he can just elbow aside the man's usual employer and kill the guy off for saying no. I swear to God, a lot of the excuses these guys come up with for killing each other are so small, cheap, and dumb. But this is the family business, and Dad's cancer made sure to not only wipe out his fortune, but put me in debt up to my neck trying to save him. So as I drive over to McDonough's penthouse in Soho, I'm psyching myself up for the kill. You do what you have to when you're in debt to the mob. I have to admit, the guy knows how to live high. His penthouse takes up the entire top floor of its high-end apartment building, which he owns. It's filled with people, probably hundreds, all eating, drinking, and enjoying more illicit substances than I have ever seen at one venue. There's a DJ, 2 jacuzzis, a huge balcony pool, a game room full of loud drunks playing video games on giant screens, and a kitchen with a full staff busting their collective asses to keep up with the party's demands. I've got plenty of competition too, women flaunting themselves in barely their outfits, all curves and confidence on display. Compared to them, I look practically modest. And that's fine by me. I'm not giving up my self-respect, or the practicality of being able to stay armed, just to blend in with every girl hoping to be someone's next spoiled pet project. No. I want him to pick me. And I want him to think it was his idea. I find him surrounded by guests, of course, telling some story that has them laughing. He's looking damn good, in black linen trousers and a matching shirt that's unbuttoned enough to show flashes of tanned muscle. His hair is loose on his shoulders, giving him the look of a dissipated prince. I drift nearer to listen in, ready to start in on my shy groupie act. I know I don't have forever to seal the deal. So this guy comes up to me, and he's pointing the damn gun at me, and he's so drunk he's got his finger right on the trigger. I mean, he farts hard enough and he's gonna hole me out, right? He laughs, his broad Boston accent giving a strange working-class tone to his words. He sounds more like a guy on lunch break at a construction site than a finance douche worth millions. Oh my gosh, weren't you scared? A girl in a gold lame bikini chirps, clinging to his arm. He smiles indulgently, but lifts an eyebrow and keeps staring at her until she lets him go. Only then does he go on, after surreptitiously checking the pocket she was leaning on. I have to stifle a laugh, liking him more at once. So I grab the guy's wrist and pull the gun past me, trap his arm with mine, and just start hitting him in my face with my other hand until he falls down. He's firing behind me, making a big damn racket and messing up my suit. You must be pretty damn fast, I chime in, moving closer to him in the crowd but not trying to touch him. Clever, too. Thinking on my feet's my whole job beautiful. He chuckles as our eyes meet. And better a powder burn than a bullet. For a moment all I can do is stare into those deep sapphire eyes, even before I note the flirtatious gleam in them. I feel a rush of heat go through me, and take a deep breath to refocus. Come on now. Don't be stupid. Still, it's a good sign. He's interested. I have a foot in the door. Good. I move closer. So, what happened? Well, it turned out the guy had an accomplice who was sneaking up behind me. His lip twists slightly. He didn't get hit, but he did run for it when the bullets started coming his way. Did you call the cops? A shirtless, bald-headed dude in leather pants asks. Kieran shakes his head, surprising me. Nah, not my style. I had some friends take care of the son of a gun. Turns out, he was just a run-of-the-mill mugger. Him and his buddy both, though his buddy had the sense to take off. You could have died, the underdressed girl simpers. But he's already turned toward me, nodding at her distractedly as he looks me up and down. Yeah, and I could be hit by a bus tomorrow, honey. I know what a calculated risk is. His tone is a little annoyed, and I wonder how long the girl has been trying to attach herself to him like a barnacle. Would have been more of a risk to just submit, I commented as I feel my skin tingle under his gaze. Yeah, it was still risky, but I figure you knew what you were doing. He laughs. Actually, I was 21, a really young 21, drunk as hell, and had no idea what I was doing. I was just going on instinct. It was only after I woke up with a hangover the next day, and remembered everything, that I got myself out to some self-defense classes. I can't help but smile. This is a guy who doesn't give a damn what people think of him, and is somehow all the more charming and popular for that. Raw charisma? Or is it somehow calculated? He seems too blunt to be the manipulative type. But I know that looks can be deceiving. Good instincts then. I mean it. Though I'm hoping that his instincts aren't too good. Yeah, they've kept me alive more than once. The corner of his mouth quirks as he considers me. Then he steps forward, the circle of people collapsing into the space behind him. I notice a few of them looking at me curiously and make a mental note. Doing my job isn't just a matter of getting the guy alone and offing him. Right now, at this party, we're in front of witnesses. If we disappear together or I spend the night and he ends up dead, they're going to remember I was the last one with him. I've actually had to date many targets a few times, never letting them get beyond a kiss so that I can guarantee keeping my objectivity before finally ending them and slipping away. I may have to do this here, but it worries me a little. I feel like the more time I spend with the guy, the more at risk I am for just not being able to kill him. And that's whether or not I let him get beyond a kiss. Which I already kind of want to. He's fun, he's interesting, he hasn't actually done anything besides launder money. If anything, he's the least violent and most attractive man I've been sent after. He almost seems like a good guy. I'm already starting to like him. That's dangerous. Men in and around my line of work usually bore, annoy, or scare me, which is a good defense against being taken in by them. Mobster guys tend to have big egos with almost no substance behind them. No accomplishments or skills to justify being so damn proud of themselves. It's not exactly attractive. And then there's the bravado and aggression. Yeah, there's a reason I have never dated anyone from my world. I've gotten way too used to guys like the boss, to whom I'm a decorative item with a deadly skill, someone to throw money at so she'll buy something pretty for him to look at you in. Not a person. And honestly, guys who are all ego and no substance? Completely uninteresting. That kind of energy holds zero appeal for me. Kieran, though, he's different. He keeps me on my toes. And as he walks over, a wave of warmth floods my chest and settles low in my stomach, catching me off guard. So Red, he says, flashing that relaxed flirtatious smile. Want a drink? I can't help but smile back. I let it happen. Might as well enjoy myself before I have to get down to my very ugly business. So what's your name, Red? He asks as we head for the bar. He's got my arm tucked into his easily, the silk of his shirt brushing against my bare skin. I keep having to tell myself to focus. Red is fine for now, I demur, and he chuckles and bellies up to the bar with me. Jerry. I'm thirsty. Jerry's a big dark-skinned giant with loose curls down his back and an easy smile. He looks between us and Kieran holds up 2 fingers. Get me 2 damn Mai Tais. I'm roasting here. He shoots me a questioning look and I nod, smile still on. I actually hate fruity drinks, but he's right about the heat in this crowd. So what do you do? He asks me cheerfully as we wait on our drinks. I'm a personal trainer, and I teach self-defense classes, I reply handily. It's a well-established cover. I even have business cards. Though I have to admit, I've never had to deal with 2 gunmen in an alleyway before. It's the first lie I've told him, and he gives me a sharp look as if he's caught it. But how could he? It's small. He doesn't need to know about all the times I have fought for my life. He can't be that observant, or I am in big trouble. That's cool. So did you come with a date? He looks around us. Can't imagine why he left you alone if you did. No, I'm single. 6 months now. He doesn't need to know that I've never had a romantic partner. He only needs to know that I don't have one now. Take the bait, you good for nothing, I think as he smiles just a touch wider at the revelation. So if I steal you away for the night, I won't have some dude waiting in my living room tomorrow morning wanting to kick my butt? He winks. I laugh and shake my head. No, and if there is, I would help you kick him out. Well, that's good news for me then, isn't it? I raise my eyebrow at him. Maybe it is. The Mai Tai's more strong than sweet, tasting more fruit and rum than sugar. I take big swallows to cool myself down, and feel the buzz of the alcohol add to the warmth inside of me. He smiles and matches me, as we head out to the wraparound balcony that includes the pool deck. It's not quite as crowded out there. Outside, the breeze pushes humid air against my body, and ruffles the few bits of hair that I'd pulled out of my braid to frame my face. He reaches over and tucks some of the longer strands behind my ear so deftly that I don't realize he's done it until my ear is already tingling. He walks right up to the edge of the balcony, like he isn't afraid of anything in the world, and leans on the railing overlooking the vast canyon of the street below. I inch toward him, watching him lean so casually over a deadly drop. The fact that I could literally flip him over the edge and send him to his death before he knew what I was doing enters my head, and I dismiss it just as fast. It would be quick, easy, and likely witnessed. I lean against the railing beside him. Not scared of heights, huh? Oh yeah, I am. But either you face what you fear, Red, or it haunts you forever. Call it exposure therapy if you want to. He takes another swallow of his drink. Geez, I wish less blender drinks were sweet as hell. Me too. I like the rum, I like the fruit, but they always throw grenadine and that kind of crap into them. This one's pretty good though. I don't like small talk, but it's a good way to get someone to relax and trust you more. Though in his case, half drunk, smelling of at least one woman's perfume and leaning over an abyss, I don't think he could get more relaxed without snoring. Yeah, I ask him to go light on the sweetening. You can't actually hide rum that well even with a pile of sugar, you just make it more palatable. He stretches his arm toward me across the railing. I don't reach back yet. But I want to. So what do you do for fun? He asks, glossing over the cliché question with that charming smile. Various crafts. Gunsmithing, knife-making, the creation of improvised explosives. I have to keep my stuff in good repair, because finding a black market gunsmith in the middle of a job is often impossible. Sounds a little dry, he purrs, and I nod honestly. Yeah, well, this is actually the first bit of free time I've had in a good while. It's not free time at all, of course, but I have to admit that the mingle and drink booze part of my job doesn't suck. Snuffing him out is going to, though. I can already tell. I don't want to do it, don't want to take his smiling face from the world. This is going to mean months of nightmares and guilt. Probably worse than the times before. I want to get it over with, before I lose my nerve entirely. But the risk is too great. I have to keep my cool, wait for my moment, and then make myself take the shot. I just hope I can go through with it when the time comes. So you said you didn't come with a guy, he says, taking a quick gulp from his rapidly melting drink. I follow suit as he continues. Who did you come with? I crashed, I reply casually, smirking at him. Bribed your door guy. You might want to replace him. He doesn't seem to have much loyalty. I know for a fact that he let in more girls than me, just on the basis of looks and how many 20s were pressed into his hand. I guarantee there's at least 5 or 6 other girls in here who came without invitations. His dark gold eyebrow quirks upward. Is that so? Well, thanks for the information. Think I'll make him a toilet attendant from now on. I laugh a little, though I owe a lot to that door guy for getting me in easily. I rarely have a problem getting into parties like this when I want to, but every little bit helps. But he's right, that's exactly why he should be replacing his door guard. So, how many of the people inside do you actually know? I ask as we hang out, alternating watching the vista and the crowd. His smile flickers slightly. Oh, maybe half of them. The rest come along because they hear about it, which is usually fine. I like meeting new people. But damn, sometimes I look around that room and realize I know the names of maybe 5 people out of 50. That sounds kind of lonely. Like they are there for the party, the refreshments, the illicit substances, and the thrill of being there, without giving a damn about getting to know the guy throwing it. His smile flickers again, and then he shrugs. Well, if I didn't let new people in and give them a chance, I wouldn't have met you, now would I? I catch myself smiling back again. Damn. This guy's smooth as hell. All right, fair enough. So how long do these parties usually last? I try not to sound too eager to get him alone, but his smile widens anyway. 3 or so. It's a weeknight. His gaze roams over me, leaving me tingling as much as if he'd used his hand. You feel like sticking around afterward? I let my smile go lopsided and flirty. I think I could be persuaded. His eyes twinkle. I can be very persuasive. I'm in. One way, the other, or both.
Chapter 3. Atalanta.
2.5 hours later, the last of the guests leave. The DJ and bartender pack up and take their pay, and Kieran and I are left alone together. Half drunk on chilled cocktails and tingling all over from Kieran's constant flirtation, I feel my stomach flutter with anticipation as he leads me up to his enormous bedroom. It takes up half of the top floor, and the heavily draped bed is so huge that it actually fits the cavernous space. I hesitate in the doorway. Once we're alone together, it's time for me to get to work. I'll have to put aside how much I like the guy, how much I want the guy, and end him quickly. But I don't want to. After 28 years, I've finally met someone who stirs something unexpected in me. I know there are more important things I should be focusing on, but it's hard to ignore the pull I feel toward him. He comes up behind me, his breath warm on the back of my neck. His hands trail down the outsides of my arms as he murmurs in my ear, "Something wrong, goddess?" I turn and meet his eyes, those intense pale blue eyes, and see the sly curve of his lips. A strange flutter rises in my chest, and for a moment my knees feel a little unsteady. I don't know what I'm doing here, I say softly, torn between my duty and this overwhelming reaction I can't quite name. His smile shifts, revealing a glint of mischief. Well then. How about you let me take the lead for the rest of the night? Stop worrying so much. I don't know how to answer, so I just nod. His eyes light up, as if he's won something. We step through the door and he kisses me, his mouth warm and sure, the gesture surprisingly gentle. It leaves me breathless. He really knows how to disarm someone. Any plan I had to eliminate him tonight slips quietly out of my mind, replaced by something simpler, the desire to just feel. To be in this moment before the world intrudes again. Still, a part of me stays wary. If he turns out to be like the others, promises without follow-through, charm without substance, then this brief reprieve won't mean anything. And if he lets me down like that, well, let's just say I won't be so forgiving. He nudges me into the room, his kisses growing deeper and more urgent as we move toward the bed. My purse slips to the floor near the door, followed by my shawl. He lifts me out of my shoes with surprising gentleness, his lips never leaving mine. I'm breathless, the air charged between us. My dress suddenly feels too warm, too much. I fumble with the fastenings, trying to ease the fabric off, overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment. He brushes kisses along my midsection, each one lighting sparks beneath my skin. When he pauses to circle my navel, I draw in a sharp breath, trembling from the sensation. My thoughts scramble, tugged in two directions, instinct warning me to stay in control, desire urging me to let go. This isn't like me. I'm careful. Always measured. But something about him makes that control slip. His hands glide to my back, and I feel the hesitation in my own breath as he helps ease the straps from my shoulders. I close my eyes, heart pounding. He kisses my collarbone, then higher, his touch reverent and slow, making me ache in a way I don't fully understand. He lifts me effortlessly, carrying me toward the bed. I cling to him, face buried in his neck, the scent of his skin anchoring me in the moment. My heart hammers wildly, unsure whether it's from nerves, longing, or something deeper. When he lays me down, he pauses just long enough to take off his shirt and shoes, then leans over me again, brushing my hair gently from my face. His lips meet mine once more, unhurried now, warm, as if he's memorizing the shape of my mouth. I run my fingers down his back, feeling the tension coiled in his muscles. He shivers beneath my touch, and we both pause there, suspended in a fragile, breathless space that feels like the edge of something important. He doesn't leave me waiting, leaning in again to press soft kisses along my collarbone, then higher, his attention moving between me with care and focus. I tremble beneath him, overwhelmed by the tenderness in his touch. His hand slips to my waist, steadying me, as I breathe through the intensity of the moment. A quiet sound escapes me, not from pain, but from how deeply this connection stirs something I didn't expect. "Oh my," I gasp, a wave of emotion rushing through me. I know I've gone further than I ever intended. That this moment, whatever it is, carries weight I can't ignore. He simply smiles and sits back, shrugging off the rest of his clothes as if we had all the time in the world. There's a vulnerability in the way he looks at me, like he's holding his breath for my answer. "Are you sure?" he asks gently. "Yes," I whisper, my heart pounding. I know I should walk away. I know I'm forgetting too many important things right now. But all I feel is this pull, raw and real. He draws closer, moving over me with care, breath syncing with breath. There's no rush, only a rising tension and a deep sense of surrender as we find each other in the quiet hush between heartbeats. My arms wrap around him, holding tight as waves of feeling crash through me, exhilarating, unfamiliar, and impossible to resist. I meet him, unsure of where the moment will take us, only that I no longer want to be anywhere else. When it ends, we lie still, wrapped in the warmth of each other. He holds me close, and for the first time in a long while, I feel something settle inside me. Something that had been off-kilter now feels right again. "Gosh," he breathes, resting his forehead against mine. "That was incredible." "Yeah. That's one way of putting it." I stare at the ceiling, the reality of what I've just done dawning on me slowly as the rush dies away. I slept with him. I didn't kill him. I actually slept with him. Slept with a man, a target, for the first time. And it was good. And he was good. And I liked it, and I like him. I can't go through with this. I can't possibly kill him. Especially not now. And certainly not for a lowlife like Lucchesi. My arms tighten almost protectively around this man at the thought. This near stranger who was supposed to be a target. And then I catch myself and squeeze my eyes shut, even as Kieran starts caressing me again. His smooth hands stoke up flames I thought he'd already quenched, and suddenly I'm panting again before I've fully caught my breath. I think I may be in serious trouble, I think, as he starts kissing his way down my belly.
Chapter 4. Kieran.
It's well past dawn when I wake up with my would-be assassin sleeping peacefully in my arms. I grin as I look at her, red hair escaping her braid, lipstick kissed off, so out for the count that I don't expect to see the color of her eyes again before noon. "You don't know what hit you, did you, baby?" So much for the tough assassin. I know I will still have to watch myself, but I'm already pretty damned confident that she will want more of me now that she's had a taste. I know it reached her somehow. Not just in the moment, but deeper than that. And that's why I can't stop thinking about it. I roll over and reach for her to see how awake she is, and she opens her eyes instantly, flailing around on the nightstand next to her, probably for a gun. Her fingers connect with a full glass of water and nothing else, and she stops, blinking at me. "Morning, sweetheart," I say cheerfully, watching her slowly take in where she is, and see her expression shift as she realizes what happened. "How are you doing?" She pulls the sheet up over her chest, a flicker of self-consciousness returning now that the intensity between us has eased. Her eyes are guarded. "Fine," she says. "You stay right there and sip your water. I'll make us breakfast in bed," I purr at her, and she shoots me a profoundly confused look. This is clearly all new territory for her. A quiet morning waking up beside someone. But she's snuggled against me all night, so she can't be too uncomfortable with the idea. Not deep down. "How long was I out?" she mumbles, looking around. "A solid 6 hours. It's 10 a.m. Did you have to be somewhere?" I know she has to report to that fat jerk she works for eventually, and for that, she'll want to get away from me. But how loyal is she to him really? I aim to find out. "I don't have anywhere else to be right now," she says finally, ignoring the out I just gave her. Good. She's making excuses to stay instead of the other way around. She might still be aiming to kill me, but the heat smoldering low in her big, gorgeous eyes tells me another story. Let me get you something comfy to wear as well then, because I don't feel like climbing onto my damn wardrobe right now. How the hell did we get your panties up there again? I pretend to be baffled about it. I clearly remember flinging them behind me into the dark, just didn't realize how chaotic my aim was. As for the rest of her clothes, I can see half the weapons she smuggled in, hidden in that saucy little outfit. It's a wonder she didn't cut herself in such tight clothing. I pretend to ignore her arsenal, lying out in the open. T-shirt and boxers are fine. I'm just glad to be out of those damn shoes. Not a high heels fan? You looked dynamite in them. I check out the sea green pumps flung next to the wardrobe, and she grunts with irritation. I don't like any kind of shoes that I can't run in, she says with such bluntness that I know she's showing me something important. Or fight in. I prod very gently. The shoes have a pair of push knives hidden in their arches. She shoots me a sharp look and is quiet for a few beats. A lady needs to be able to defend herself. I'm not arguing against that. So tell me something since we're on the subject. You said you're into teaching self-defense classes. I sound more interested about that than I actually am, but not by much. Everything about Atalanta is interesting to me. If she was just some assassin I had to neutralize, I would have drugged her drink and left her chained in my basement while I went and slept with some other attractive woman. I do not mess around, especially when it comes to potentially deadly operatives of emotionally unstable man-baby mobsters. I deal with that fast and hard. This is different. Yeah. She stretches up to catch the t-shirt I toss her from my drawer, her expression bright with a little grin as she pulls it on. I swallow hard, my mouth suddenly dry. There's something about seeing her here, at ease, like she belongs. I'm glad I took the risk, again. I could really get used to this. Now if I could just deal with the whole, she was hired to kill me situation, we might actually stand a chance. I'm not foolish enough to fall for her before that's resolved. But I want to. Watching her tug my shirt down over her toned frame, comfortable and unbothered, makes it hard to focus. Have you ever thought of doing any bodyguard work? I manage to ask. She blinks, clearly surprised. You want to hire me to watch your back? I raise both eyebrows and grin, and she rolls her eyes. Not like that, she grumbles, but there's a little laugh in her voice. Actually, yes, I'm looking for a personal bodyguard. She has to be my woman as well, of course, and that's not a paid position. But keeping myself from being cut down by some hitter sent by a local creep would be very lucrative. The thing about Lucchesi is that he's an idiot, and he doesn't know me at all. I'm the kind of guy who will look for the best deal for everyone involved, so it's actually tempting for whoever it is that I'm dealing with. In this case, if she's the mercenary type, she'll be pretty easily bought off. And what kind of real loyalty could a bloated worm like Lucchesi command from anyone? Let alone smart, no-bullshit Atalanta. She raises her eyebrows at me and sits back, arms folded over my t-shirt. I'm listening. But how much money are we talking about here? That depends. What's your starting bid? Because if I have someone that close to me, I want it to be someone smart, and someone I already really like. She frowns. You want to date me, and you want to hire me. They're two different things. Absolutely. See, I'm a bad actor, I lie. If I introduce someone as my girlfriend and she isn't, where does that leave me when people notice that we're never affectionate and never see each other outside of work? She huffs out her breath and looks out the window. It's storming again, one of those fat droplet steamy summer storms that are the remnants of some other hurricane. Now and again lightning flashes, but it doesn't happen too close by. Not that we'd be in much danger anyway. Okay, she says slowly. This is a lot. Last night was a lot too. She wants to retreat. I can tell. If I push it too far, she'll run for it. If I don't push enough, she won't think I'm serious. It's a delicate situation. Especially if she's somehow skilled enough to take me out with her bare hands. I'd be better at teaching you to defend yourself, she says slowly, and I shake my head with a smile. No need. I've learned to take care of myself since my days of drunk fool against heavily armed muggers. My problem is that I need backup. There's always more trouble than one person can handle, especially if your enemies are smart. I'm not worried about smart enemies, though. I am smarter. My boss is certainly smarter. Guys like Lucchesi, on the other hand, are excruciatingly, almost laughably stupid. But the problem with stupid people is that they're unpredictable, and that is absolutely no laughing matter. Bad, random decisions made by idiots with power have ruined a lot of lives and ended even more. Because they're not automatically looking out for their best interests, stupid people's decisions are arbitrary and emotional. Lucchesi is an idiot. So his decisions have been especially arbitrary and hard to predict. It's a damn shame that he's allowed to keep wasting good air while making trouble for guys like me. Are you having problems with a business rival or something? She asks, lifting a dark red eyebrow. I pause mid-movement as I pull on my boxers, letting out a quiet breath before finishing getting dressed. You could say that. There's a guy sending hitters after me. Apparently some very talented ones. The look on her face, the mix of shock, suspicion, amusement, and disbelief, is absolutely priceless. Hitters. Assassins. You piss someone off. She stares at me, waiting for the other shoe to drop, expression suddenly very wary. I wave a hand dismissively as I retrieve another t-shirt for myself. He was pissed off before he got to me. Well before. That was actually his problem. I'm sorry, she says cautiously as recognition turns up the lights in her eyes. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay then, I reply patiently, fighting a smile. Let's go back over everything and see where I lost you. So what then? We keep dating. Exclusively. Like real dating. I smile even wider because that's what has stuck in her head the most. Not even as much as the bit about possibly knowing who she is. Absolutely. You're way too fascinating to let slip away. Did her cheeks go a little pink just then? I press my lips together to keep from snickering. Okay, she says. But then you say you have an assassin after you. Protecting you from a professional is a dangerous job, even if I'm just the backup. How much is that really worth to you? She's asking two things, but she seems to be asking them both seriously. One question is at face value. The other question is far more subtle. Are you willing to pay me off to save your own life? I take a deep breath. Time to go for broke. I don't know. How about 4 times whatever that creep Lucchesi is paying you? Cash? She freezes, that strange mix of emotions leaving her face as shock floods her. You knew. You didn't just figure it out now. How? I know I didn't leave you anything to go on. Atalanta, I had your name, picture, and 3 potential scenarios for your cover story before you walked through my door. Not because I'm that good, but because my boss is, and the guy takes care of his own. And if I make the decision to hire you, not to kill me instead of shooting you down, well, I think he'll back me. She sits back against the pillows, eyes wide with shock, and I smile and nod watching her. This isn't going too badly after all. She hasn't even gone for a weapon yet. You slept with me, knowing I came here to kill you. You let me get you alone. You slept in my presence, knowing what I do. She sounds so incredulous that I'm suddenly trying my best not to laugh all over again. Yeah, I did, and yeah, that's true. Guess I'm stupid, or just that smitten with you. Or maybe I'm smart, and figured that you aren't with a jerk like Lucchesi because you want to be. I come back over, and sit on the edge of the bed watching her face. In fact, I'm pretty damn certain that you're with him against your will. And I don't like it. I'm not sure how to take that, she says quietly, running her hand back over her now messy braid. I know she's probably feeling pretty damn vulnerable, unarmed in my bed with just a t-shirt. The circumstances are deliberate, but I wish I hadn't had to go through with them. Well, this is probably pretty uncomfortable. So let's start with the basics. Do you like working with Lucchesi? I stare into her eyes, and she looks back firmly. Of course not, she sighs. The creep has me by a financial short leash. My dad's old relationship with him, and any chance the creep would treat me honorably, died with my dad. He killed your dad too? It's stepping over a line. But I still can't figure out how someone as smart as her ended up in the hands of Lucchesi. If there's a family tie, it makes a little more sense, but she doesn't seem too happy with her current arrangement either way. No, she almost growls, looking down at her hands as they lie open in her lap. Cancer. That's how Lucchesi got me working for him. Medical debt. We paid them hundreds of thousands to save my dad. They failed, but they still billed us. I wince. It's way worse than I thought. Lucchesi fronted you the money because he was your dad's boss and wanted to support the fight. But the moment your dad lost that fight, he handed you the bill. Then he offered some ways of working it off. I see the corners of her jaw tighten as she nods. Yeah. I could sleep with him, or I could kill for him. I'd rather shoot 50 mobsters than sleep with that pile of crap. It's good you have high standards, I say smoothly. It's even better that I made the cut. That makes her go quiet for even longer than when the realization hit that I'd been onto her all night and slept with her anyway. Yeah. You're the first one to make the cut. Ever. And you're definitely the first ever that I'd consider sleeping with again. Which is one of the only reasons why I'm sitting here listening to your proposal instead of killing you. Now it's my turn to sit there blinking in absolute shock. The first? Adrian had told me the rumor, but it was an entirely different thing having confirmation. Especially after she was such a wildcat in my arms last night. In a flash, she's across the floor and has one of her knives in her hand. But she doesn't come near me. She only has it, as if to remind herself that she's that quick and skilled, or maybe to feel a little more control over the situation. I'm still shocked. Did you say that just to catch me off guard? I start. Because being the first guy she slept with feels like a pretty damn big deal. No, she snaps, passion and anger making her voice shake. Her fist clenches around the knife's narrow grip. No. I wasn't. That was my first time, and damn you for. I blink a few times, out of my depth for once. For what? Are you having regrets? Yes. No. No, not about that. I don't regret sleeping with you. I just regret all of this mess besides that. If I had known that you knew who I was the entire time, I would have thought you were either crazy or trying to play me. I could just be that smitten, I venture, and she shoots me a glare like I've insulted her intelligence. Except, of course, I'm not entirely lying. It's still way more complicated than I wanted this to be. But you're just like that. I grin, and she glances at the knife for a split second before tossing a fallen pillow at me instead. Cocky, she mutters. Only when I know I'm right, I tease. I'm sure you could take me in a fight. But I was hoping we wouldn't have to test that theory. I wink and she rolls her eyes, but a smile tugs at her lips all the same. She's hooked. I can already tell. Now, I just have to reel her in. I'll tell you what, I say, catching her gaze. Let's give this a shot. In return, I'll help you find a way to get out from under your debt to Lucchesi. After all, it seems we've got a common enemy. She straightens, looks down at the knife in her hand, then sets it aside and sits at the edge of the bed. Okay, she says softly, tilting her face toward me. My chest tightens with a pull to kiss her, but I hold back. I'm listening.
Chapter 5. Atalanta.
So what the hell happened? Lucchesi demands, his voice loud enough to sting my ear over the phone. I wince and turn it down. He survived, and now I have to keep on him until he's dead. How the hell did that happen? His voice cracks with shock. I've never even temporarily failed him before. He's got way more tolerance for chemicals than I ever imagined, I grumble in response. Across the room from me, Kieran is grinning as he puffs on a cig. He's perfectly fine. I'm boiling over with mixed feelings as I lie to my boss. I know it's a gigantic risk. I know that normally, even if I have to stalk a guy for months first, my first attempt at a kill is my final attempt. I've never missed. No wonder Lucchesi is shocked. I'll have to get close to him and orchestrate it in some other way. I sigh, doing my best to sound like someone exasperated at a mere inconvenience, instead of someone stalling for time. It shouldn't be too difficult. He's attracted to me. Getting him alone with me shouldn't take long once I sort out how to do it without being detected. I want proof of his death within a week. I wince at his babyish tone. Look. You know how these things go. I'm on him until he stops breathing. He doesn't need to know that my idea of on him differs totally from his own. Trying to apply a time pressure when it could take me over a week to just get close to McDonough is unrealistic. I'm doing everything I can to sound reasonable, but this is Lucchesi. Unrealistic. Now you listen here, you little tramp. You still owe me enough money that I could buy you if I wanted to. He says more, but I pull the phone away from my ear and just let him throw his childish, profanity-filled fit without actually listening to it. There's nothing original to it, just the same curses, insults, and threats that he spews the moment that anything at all goes wrong. That's how he ended up with a dead money launderer. That's why his poor brother's afraid of him, but still keeps trying to reason with him. It's also why Lucchesi is still an underboss, after being passed over 3 times by the heads of the 5 families. He can't control himself, and he doesn't want to either. I let him rant on. A solid 5 minutes pass before he finally pauses to catch his breath, for more than a split second. If you keep letting yourself get this worked up over small inconveniences, you're going to end up having a heart attack, I chide him, knowing it's gasoline on the fire. Heart attack? I'm fine. I'm not fat. He is, but more importantly, he drinks and smokes enough for 5 people, and constantly has these fits of rage despite having a heart problem. I didn't say you were. I'm saying that you're losing your mind over practically nothing. We've dealt with delays before. Sometimes months of them. I can hear his brother in the background struggling to use similar words to get him to see reason. But my struggle doesn't come from love, and it's not genuine. I know that Lucchesi isn't just bad-tempered. He's a stubborn jerk. Too prideful. He would literally rage himself into a heart attack, if given half the opportunity, and nobody to talk him down. So I keep subtly goading him, because after all, if he keels over through no fault of mine, I'll be free of my debt and that creep all at once. And nobody can blame me for a heart attack. Get it done, damn it. Lucchesi yells finally and disconnects the call, with his brother still begging him to calm down. I sigh and set my phone down. Well, that went as expected. Not as I'd hoped, of course. My chief hope is outraging Lucchesi enough that he'll end up in the hospital again, and this time never come out. But instead, I know he'll drink too much and erode the loyalty of his staff with his bad treatment. He might even end up visiting his suite at the hospital for a weekend. It's happened before. Usually because of too much booze or a woman. But he's taking this whole mess with Kieran really, really seriously. It rings a little bell in my head. You didn't just tell him no, I say as I tuck my phone away and turn around. It's my second day with him in his penthouse, wearing jeans and sipping wine I can't pronounce, and smoking strains of weed I've never heard of. He's really into his high-end inebriants, and I sure as hell don't mind. Is that an accusation? Kieran teases, still lounging on the couch with his shirt open and its tails untucked. The suck mark one left over his pulse looks like a proper bruise now. I could almost swear that he was showing it off. It's a statement of fact, I say straight out, and he snickers and shrugs. He made a couple of serious mistakes that couldn't go unanswered, he replies more seriously after a moment's thought. On the one hand, he insulted me. On the other hand, he insulted my employer. Neither one is acceptable. So, how did you respond? This is the first time he's mentioned Dubois since he made his offer, and I have to admit, I'm eager to know what he knows about his mysterious boss. Dubois has been an up-and-coming legend in the underworld for a while now, and even the dyed-in-the-wool Mafia guys are starting to realize that they have to deal with him. Some want to do business. Others want to find a way to control him. And then there are guys like Lucchesi, who clearly want him and his employees under their control but have failed, and now simply want him dead. I told him that when my boss controls his share of the local underworld, he'll be answering to me anyway. Dubois will make sure of it after this insult. For a moment, Kieran's eyes flash and I realize fully that he's not just an easygoing party guy. I can imagine his words sinking their fangs into Lucchesi's ego, and I chuckle ruefully. Oh yeah, that would do it. Is that what's going to happen, by the way? I peer at him, and he dissolves into laughter. Oh, Atalanta, as much as I'd love to get close enough to you that I can trust you with that information, we've known each other less than 2 days. Be patient. He rubs a finger around the rim of his half-empty champagne flute, making it ring. But I will tell you this. If I wasn't absolutely sure that your story of working for Lucchesi against your will is true, you would be dead right now. I certainly wouldn't be breakfasting with you. I nod in acknowledgement, but the whole mess right now hurts and frustrates me. I try to lighten the mood. This is breakfast? It's 11, and we're having champagne and weed. I eye the gigantic cig he hands me and snicker. You know that's true. I'll make us a bacon, egg, and cheese omelet. He winks as he pushes himself up off the couch and heads for the kitchen. It's been a completely crazy 24 hours. After crossing a line with a guy who was supposed to be my target, and then admitting it, the whole tone of our relationship has shifted, and there's no going back. Kieran may not entirely trust me yet, but he's definitely smitten. And so am I. I don't know what to do with these feelings. I haven't had a crush since junior high. And this is becoming far more than that. My emotions are running out of my control. And the most terrifying part of all of it is that I like it. It feels so damn good that sometimes I forget I'm in freefall. We spent most of our first day together making love and cuddling. I would try to bring up needing to check in with my boss to tell him some convenient lie that covers my absence. But Kieran would simply start kissing me again, and everything about that creep Lucchesi would leave my mind entirely. And every time, I was glad. It's the first time in years that I have been able to sleep without my debt to Lucchesi, and all the things he's made me do haunting me for hours beforehand. When I was alone with my thoughts, my obligations were always picking at the back of my mind, at minimum. But in Kieran's arms, held through the night until I can finally relax, all of that fades into the background. Lucchesi's hold on me feels like an inconvenience instead of a real, agonizing problem. As I sit there on the couch in the sun, sleepy and relaxed and sipping champagne, I still find the subject starting to haunt me again. Kieran has made promises that he and his boss can help me make this all go away. But that would just leave me indebted to them instead. I want to be free. Even if I'm free to be a mercenary or even an assassin, I want to choose my jobs. I never want to kill another person whom I'm not 100% sure deserves it. Kieran wants to help. We're both attracted to each other, both wary of each other but hopeful. But I can't let him help as much as he wants. I need to buy time. The story I have fed Lucchesi, that Kieran's health was damaged by being poisoned, and that he's retreated to a resort island to convalesce, is all a cover story for us running away. I'm not chasing him there. He's taking me. He wants to save me. I want to buy time so I can save myself. Everything may have changed drastically, but even though I barely know this guy, he's given me the impetus to choose my way out. After all, Lucchesi is in bad health. And if a young, healthy, famous man can have an accident or a sudden decline and end up a corpse, well then, so can Lucchesi. I've daydreamed about killing him many times. The difference is that this time, I not only have more of a reason to fight than simply for myself, I also have help. I just really hope that Kieran is as good at keeping his promises as he is with his tongue. Pretty soon I hear sizzling and smell bacon cooking. Kieran is humming as he fixes brunch. I can't help but smile a little. So he's dragging me off to a private island for a month while I regroup, feed Lucchesi lies, and figure out whether I should just escape or remove Lucchesi from the world as well. I'd rather do the second one. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Kieran does as well. But romantic partner and new ally or not, he can get in line. So what was it like, growing up the daughter of a mob hitter? He asks as he comes back out with a big tray. He sets it down, 2 breakfast sandwiches, a big bowl of honeydew chunks, pineapple and grapes. I eat a few chunks of melon, while I think of how to answer. We've talked a lot between everything that's happened, but the truth is, we still don't know much about each other beyond our shared grudge against Lucchesi and the decision to do something about it. Well, I say finally, Dad was never home. I was with Mom until she got sick, and with a bunch of nannies afterward. It was a little like having a military father who's deployed overseas all the time. He couldn't talk about his work most of the time, and refused to tell me anything until I was 16. I could see the warning signs of special ops experience in some of that. I suspect that he was also worried about me seeing him as a monster. But you didn't. He has this way of watching me when I talk, chin on fist, eyes on my face, as if absolutely fascinated by whatever I'm talking about. It's difficult to get used to, but not in a bad way. No, Dad was my hero. He took good care of me, even if he had to exclude me from a huge part of his life. There was never any drama, there were no messed up girlfriends trying to push me aside, none of the usual nonsense. But sometimes Dad came home with a bullet hole or 2 in him, or beat up from a fight, and I knew he wasn't deployed overseas. He was right here, at home, fighting some kind of war one had no idea about. It feels weird to me, talking openly about this. Kieran is dangerous like that. He can draw me out as easily as he can seduce me. He makes me want to talk to him. I can't even describe how irresistible he is. Maybe I'm a little bit swept off my feet by him. Maybe. But I'm sure not letting him know that. His ego is big enough. So he finally told you he worked for Lucchesi when you hit 16? Kieran scratches his chin. He hasn't shaved yet, and a tiny bit of golden scruff lines his jaw. I wish he'd keep it. Yes, well, he came home with a broken arm and no hospital bracelet again, and I finally confronted him. He didn't tell me everything straight out, but he promised that now that I was older, he would stop hiding things. Start answering questions. And you must have had a ton of them, he says, his voice so warm and purring that it makes my toes curl. I did. I really, really did. I mean, ever since Mom died when I was 6, Dad was all I had. I got this idea in my head that he would just not come home one day, and I wouldn't even know why or how he had died. At least, unless the newspaper covered it. My lips twist. I hate remembering parts of this so much. But I also hate never talking about it. Never being able to talk about it. All these damn dirty secrets kept to protect who? Lucchesi. Anyway, I found out my dad was a mob hitter and was furious for maybe a week. But I didn't tell anyone, and I didn't turn my back on him. Eventually I asked him to train me, not basics but advanced fighting techniques. Said it was because I wanted to run my own self-defense studio for women. I smile a little, remembering. My dad had started my basic training very young. 2-mile run every morning, scaled down when I was smaller of course. Weight training, swimming, climbing, all to get me fit enough to deal with the demands of combat training. That started when I was 12, not 16. I'm still hiding just how good I am from Kieran. It hasn't been long enough to let down my guard completely, no matter how much I want to reveal to him. So I guess I don't get it. If your dad worked for Lucchesi, why didn't he warn you off doing the same? His innocent question hits me right in the heart, and he sees my shift in expression and backs off. If you feel like talking about it. I hate talking about any of this stuff, but it's you, so I'll excuse it, I say before I realize what I'm saying. Then I see his sly but oddly tender grin, and my cheeks heat up. Well, all right then, he replies so smoothly that somehow it unruffles me. Take it easy. I'm asking because I'm interested, not because I want to make you uncomfortable. I'm not that uncomfortable. Not with him. But will I regret talking about this later? Too late. At very least, I'll probably have nightmares tonight. Not about my dad, though. About losing him. He did warn me off. He made me promise not to work for Lucchesi, even if I decided to go into the family business. His brother, sure, if he took over, but not Lucchesi. Dad used to work for Lucchesi's dad, who was a lot smarter and soberer. When the old man died, his new boss turned out to be a damn fool. I can't keep the bitterness out of my voice at the thought of my father's frustrating last several years. Lucchesi took over when I was still in my teens. He kept wanting to meet me. He got aggressive about it when my dad refused. Called me ripe. That told me everything I needed to know about him. His face fell in horror. Geez. Yeah. So I was all set to either open my studio or go work for someone else. I didn't know about your guy Dubois back then. Actually, the information I have on him even now is incredibly thin. I'm dying to learn more. Almost nobody did prior to last year, Kieran says mildly before taking a big bite of his sandwich. He preferred it that way. You don't announce yourself as a powerful independent unless you've quietly laid a whole lot of groundwork first. Groundwork? I can't keep the curiosity out of my voice. Trade secrets. Even I'm not privy to everything he's been up to. But he works just as hard as I do. He's even more ambitious and clever, and he's got at least a decade and a half of experience on me. He gets things done. I want to ask him what kind of things. But that's only because I'm considering my options, and Kieran's already floated Dubois as an option. Come work for your boss, huh? Crazy idea. But depending on what kind of man Dubois is, if he's better than Lucchesi, it's a legitimate possibility. Once I'm free anyway. Fair enough. But anyway. Dad wanted me to open the studio, and I wish I had taken his advice, opened it, and struggled along living a normal life. Better that, than ending up one of Lucchesi's attack dogs. I eat a grape, forcing myself to fill my stomach slowly though my appetite has fled. Something forced your hand though. This debt. Cancer, I clarify. Could have happened to anyone. But Dad, well, it's not like being a hitman comes with medical insurance. And a mob doctor isn't an oncologist. He nods, expression going more serious. So then Lucchesi steps in with his nice, shiny offer. That's right. I pull half a strip of bacon out of my sandwich and nibble on it. My stomach is starting to settle enough to eat, uncomfortable topic or not. Cover all the medical bills for your dad's care as a courtesy. All you have to do is do a few jobs for him. Behind your dad's back, of course. I look down, mortified. Yeah. I was desperate when he made his offer. Hadn't slept in days between my 2 jobs and dad's doctor appointments. The damn vulture exploited the whole situation, just so he'd have another hitter on tab as soon as dad kicked over. So now he's got you in pretty damn deep. And I'm willing to bet he won't actually let you off the hook once you've made your quota of kills for him. He's already halfway through his sandwich. He takes another huge bite, munching thoughtfully. You may be right, I admit. I hate the idea that Lucchesi made me kill everyone that he did, even if they were a bunch of mobsters. I really hadn't been sure that a lot of them deserved it. But I'd gritted my teeth and did it all anyway. And now I only wish an opportunity and motive beyond myself had presented itself before now. But here it is. if I can trust this incredibly attractive guy and his boss. My dad never found out I was killing for Lucchesi. I sigh. It was the one blessing in this whole damn thing. He nods and freshens my drink, dropping a frozen strawberry into the flute. So you don't really know if you would still want to be a hitter after this, he probes gently. I really don't know, Kieran, I admit finally. I think that I might want a break, at least. This work isn't easy on me. That's because you have a soul, Kieran says softly, reaching across to cup my shoulder. You're a whole person. You have a conscience that nags you when you're doing something wrong. And killing's wrong. It's a tragedy whenever you have to pull the trigger on someone. But sometimes it's necessary, especially with a damn street war brewing. Yeah. Or sometimes it's just necessary. Like taking out Lucchesi. Something I realize now that I should have done years ago. I would rather have that duty fall to someone who knows it's a damn shame that things have come to that point. Someone like Lucchesi doesn't value human life. But you do and I do and my boss does. I know what he's driving at, but it's too soon for me to decide. So instead, I deflect all over again. You just want to keep me around, I tease. But he just smiles and nods. Of course, he says, and the earnestness in his voice leaves me stunned. Who is this man that I'm falling so fast for?
Chapter 6. Kieran.
I assume that since you're calling me from Cancun and not the hospital, your conversion efforts on Miss Atalanta have proceeded according to plan. Dubois sounds amused. I grin despite his teasing. It's been an amazing week so far, and I'm glad as hell that I took the risk of seducing her. This one's pretty amazing, boss. I think if she wants to stay in the business, you have a pretty good shot with her. All she needs is to be treated right. How do you know she's not playing you until you get comfortable and let your guard down? He asks me very gently. I bite back an angry reply immediately. I've only been with her a week and I already feel a driving urge to defend her, even against him. That's a bad sign. I need to keep at least somewhat objective, or he'll start questioning my judgment. And rightfully so. I launder, organize, and hide the guy's money for him. If it seems like I'm suddenly becoming unreliable, God forbid over a girl, he'll look for someone else. I may be the best in the business, but if my focus is shot, I know he won't take the risk of keeping me on. I'm smart. Dubois is smarter. That's why he's the boss of bosses. I let it slide. She's had plenty of chances so far. I guess we should still isolate her from you until we've had a long time to observe, but I'll gladly volunteer to take the risk. Once I feel like she's safe enough, and if she shows a real interest, I'll vouch for her to meet you. Not before. I keep my voice reasonable and calm. So you trust her enough to risk your own safety but not mine, he muses. Yeah. I'm not asking anyone else to take a risk for her, but me. And maybe it's illogical. Maybe it's reckless. But my gut is telling me to never ever let this one go. Very well. I will trust your judgment on this. But no, I do not want her informed about me, or brought to any functions that I may attend in town. Make certain that our paths do not cross until you are sure of her. Understood. And yes, I'll make absolutely sure. Good. Is there anything else? I frowned, sitting back. 14 hours to the island. I'll be out of contact for most of it. I understand. He sounds amused again. I do hope you're right about your new paramour, Kieran. For a moment, I expect him to mention that those 14 hours out of contact could be very dangerous for me. But all he says is, she sounds like a bit of a handful even if she likes you. Yeah, well, I am plenty glad she does. You haven't seen her work yet. Her guns are as tight as mine. She could probably punch a guy into next week. It's an exaggeration, of course. Atalanta is badass, but she's also too smart to use her fists unless she has to. Yes, well, if she wasn't a dangerous professional, I would never have bothered warning you. Nice bonus that she looks good in a tank top. But only for you. What about the possibility of hiring her? I try not to sound too eager. Time will tell. It is apparently the family business, but only by accident. Her father, before his death, worked as a hitter for Lucchesi, but she herself clearly does so only reluctantly. You will have to find out whether it is the work itself that disgusts her, or only her current employer. Understood. I hesitate a moment, but I have to ask. Did you find out anything else about her? I verified the extent of her debt, and the kind of trouble she would end up in with the Italians if she simply shoots him. He will either have to lose that support or lose his life in a way that does not implicate her. He speaks very casually, as if he's talking about running a credit check on someone. So she's got a really strong motivator to go through with this. And she can't just pay Lucchesi off either. He doesn't deserve a dime. He deserves about $5 worth of bullets instead. Apparently, Dubois agrees. No, absolutely not. The man didn't even cover her father's medical bills properly, or he would have gotten the treatment he needed. He inflated the number and then lied about it. He wants her in hand for good. If he's aware that she's suffering because of it, he's petty enough to enjoy that. My fist clenches in my pocket. No way. He makes a soft little sound of amusement. I could send a hitter against Lucchesi, but if you wish to demonstrate your new paramour's potential, I would suggest that she instead handle this in a way that both covers her tracks and avoids larger problems with the Italians. I nod, sitting back and huffing out my breath. I'll float the idea. I know she would prefer to kill the guy herself, but the question is doing it with enough finesse that even a hospital can't tell it wasn't from natural causes. He has a variety of addictions and a variety of medical issues, Dubois says slowly, and I chuckle. Good point. When I come out onto the balcony of our hotel room, Atalanta is still dozing in the sun. The bronze-green bikini I got her shimmers against her skin, which gleams with sunblock. She's not taking any chances with that redhead complexion. As I sit down again, her eyes open behind her sunglasses. How's your boss? She asks, knowing already that I can't tell her much. He's cautious, I say in short, and she nods and reaches for her piña colada. About me, or about planning to finish off Lucchesi. She removes the paper umbrella and sips at her drink, letting out a shivery sigh. About you mostly. You turn pretty fast. I want to take sole credit for it, but I'm too damn smart for that. She sighs slowly and sets aside her drink. He still thinks I'm after you. Or after him, maybe. Both. Yes. It's that, and he wants you to prove yourself. Prove myself how? She sounds so skeptical that for a moment, I wish that I had never brought it up. Get rid of Lucchesi without stirring up the Italians. Accident, medical problem, whatever you want to make it look like. If you can do that, he'll be interested in taking you on. I don't like talking business while half-dressed in Cancun, but she seems to take it in stride. Anything else? I smirk. He's still half convinced. I'm going to end up in serious trouble for falling for you, Lanta. She eyes me curiously. You can't actually tell me that you trust me this fast. No, probably not. But I will tell you this. I have fallen for you this fast. I grin broadly at her look of shock. In fact, I'm probably not the best judge of what you might or might not do. I'm too happy to have you in my arms. The bikini suddenly provides proof that she can blush all the way down to her chest. She starts. How do I know you're not manipulating me right now? You don't, I tell her, smiling the whole time. Just like I don't know that you're not drawing this out so you can drop me in the ocean on the way to the island. I just really hope that my trust in you isn't misplaced. She relaxes slightly, the set of her shoulders dropping. Fair enough, she murmurs. And me too. I settle in on the chaise lounge next to her. That said, if I manage to thoroughly impress you this afternoon, do I earn myself another day? She laughs. Maybe.
Chapter 7. Atalanta.
No, I can't. I can't again. I'm too tired. I'm sprawled out on the bed in the master suite of Kieran's yacht, the gentle rocking of the waves lulling me into a dreamlike haze. His head rests between my thighs, his lips pressed to my skin, refusing to give me a moment's rest. He's been worshipping me with such relentless devotion that my body is trembling with exhaustion and bliss. It's too good, it's too much. I whisper, my fingers tangled in his hair, my hips moving instinctively in response to every touch, every kiss. I gasp and arch toward him, overwhelmed as he continues to build me up with maddening precision. No, please, too much. I let out a soft laugh, half delirious with exhaustion. My body feels boneless, like the waves themselves have washed over me and left me floating. When he finally pulls back, I sink deeper into the pillows, too tired to move but completely content. He leans over me, brushing a damp strand of hair from my cheek, his eyes searching mine with quiet tenderness. He exhales slowly, chest rising and falling as he settles beside me, our limbs tangled in a peaceful hush. I rest my hand against his heart, grounding myself in the steady rhythm. We don't need to speak. In this moment, just being close is enough. When it's finally over, he rests his head beside mine, chest heaving, his voice a husky murmur in the quiet. So, do I get to live? He teases, like he always does. And somehow, no matter how many times he says it, I still smile. Because coming from him, this silly, tender, stubbornly devoted man, it never feels anything less than perfect. A man I'd rather kill for than kill, and we've only been on the island for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's been a month since I got together with Kieran. A month of placating my stupid boss while plotting against him. A month of being seduced in different ways every night, while knowing that if we are found out, Kieran and I will both have a lot of trouble to deal with. I'm not the only hitter on Lucchesi's payroll. Some of them are veterans like my dad. Some may still be willing to pull the trigger on a former colleague's daughter. No wonder Kieran's stuck on my being a hitter with principles. I hate speculating on my dad and what he was like on the job, but to Kieran, there's no other way to be if you pull the trigger for a living. You have to have limits. Otherwise, you're just a serial killer who gets paid. Like the guys that will come for me if Lucchesi finds out that I've turned. Kieran thinks we can run from them. He's clever, rich, resourceful, and has powerful friends. But Kieran is overconfident. He has a legitimate business and a very public home address. Not to mention many friends who could be used against him. And Lucchesi has only one strength to his name besides being recklessly bold with other people's lives. He is completely and absolutely relentless when he thinks he's been wronged. The only safe course of action is to turn the tables on him. But how the hell am I going to manage it? Kieran dozes on my shoulder. I brood, feeling my mind race even as my body has gone completely limp. He's definitely done right by me in the intimacy department. Spoiled me rotten, in fact. Yet another reason why I want to stick with him. But until Lucchesi is in his grave in a way that no one will possibly connect me with, I can't just run off into the sunset with my new romantic partner. A worry haunts me as I lie there, the worry that I'm not being objective at all anymore. That I need to get distance on this situation, instead of spending so much time with Kieran. I have a life of my own to safeguard, and judgment of my own, that needs a chance at this situation without being constantly swayed by Kieran's charms. Some time to myself. That's what I need. But what I want, as I start to doze off in spite of my troubled mind, is to stay right here, in this little cabin anchored to this little island, where Lucchesi has no idea at all what is going on. The island is a failed resort Kieran bought from the desperate owners and renovated into a private retreat. It's 20 acres ringed by white sands, with breakwaters protecting the beach from erosion. There's only one safe way past them, to a tiny harbor on the island's south end. Taking me here was an act of trust on Kieran's part. It's his most private place, we're the only people in 100 miles. If I really was still planning to kill him, I could do so, rid myself of the body, and even live high on his stored money and supplies for years without anyone even knowing what happened. But my going to this place with him is an act of trust as well. If he really planned to trick me, get me alone and vulnerable and play head games until I was hopelessly enmeshed, this island is the perfect place to do that. I just have to trust that it was never in his plan, just like he has to trust that murdering him on his private island was never in mine. After dinner, we walk down the beach barefoot and watch a million stars cover the sky. There are so many in the absence of artificial light that the tiniest ones all blend together into a sort of pale glowing mist. The Milky Way shimmers down on us, more visible than I have ever seen it, and a lot more detailed. This is amazing, I breathe as I stare up so long I nearly topple over as I walk. He laughs gently as he steadies me with a hand. I can tell you don't get out of the city very much, he teases, and I give him an awkward smile and a little shrug. No, I've lived in the 5 boroughs my whole life. You're from Boston, right? That's right. For a while, anyway. Then Mom and Dad split, and I ended up in the middle of nowhere until college. My life was, probably a lot more ordinary than yours growing up. Mom was alive, she still is against all odds, and my dad's not a mob hitter. He's just a jerk. Why come to New York City then, and not back to Boston? My dad and my brothers live there, my mother doesn't, and she's the only family worth visiting out of the bunch. Besides, there are way better opportunities down here for a finance guy, semi-legit or not. Semi-legit. I wonder if he refers to himself that way, or finance guys in general. There's no such thing as a legit, honorable finance guy, honey. The best you get is a guy with a conscience, like me. All of us are at least a little bit dirty. Some insider trading here, a little cash under the table there. It makes Wall Street keep working. I do the best I can, but most finance guys I know would consider laundering money for an honorable crime lord to be a step up from babysitting some creep businessman's cash. He gives me a small, dry smile. Dubois is honorable. He's not like the guy you got stuck with. He also prefers to solve problems without violence, so, if he does want someone dead, you know they deserved it. You've got a lot of faith in the guy, I note, and he simply nods and smiles. I would think of that as more backwards if I didn't know how many legitimate businessmen rely on white-collar crime to survive, I say. But I've seen. Even had a few on my hit list. One of the few times that Lucchesi showed any sense of justice at all. And I think that was actually incidental. It has to be incidental, honey. The guy's never considered justice in his life, Kieran mutters. I know. I itch at a mosquito bite on my wrist as we walk. I'm not claiming he has any redeeming qualities. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to get rid of him and leave Mario in control without him turning around and coming after me. That, and honestly, killing Johnny is going to break Mario's heart no matter how much he deserves it. It would break his heart worse if he thought it wasn't an accident or a heart attack. And that broken heart might just awaken the Lucchesi family relentlessness in him. I'm a lousy hit woman, I say as we walk. I keep thinking about Lucchesi's next of kin. No, you're not. You should be thinking about the guy. The Lucchesi family has had no success since Johnny took over and started spending all their money on illicit substances, women, and top-shelf booze. He doesn't want to handle the family business. He just wants to live like a damn king. Kieran takes a hand-rolled cigarette from the case in his pocket and lights it, taking a long pull. Or his idea of a king, anyway. I mean, I'm a damn hedonist, but at least I know how to set it aside and get down to work. Lucchesi only gets to work when it comes to revenge. And that is what I can't stop worrying about. Think your boss could be any help in getting rid of this guy quietly? I don't even know why I'm asking. I should be handling my own life for once, not looking to go into debt to someone else. Maybe. I'm reluctant to ask him. He's already got a lot on his plate, even on a slow day. And these are not slow times. He speaks between drags, little puffs of smoke coming out with each word. What are you thinking of doing about Lucchesi? Once we get back, I mean? I've pretty much eliminated any option besides arranging a deadly accident, a heart attack, a stroke, an overdose. But that's not easy, especially for someone without a medical background. I smirk. Know any doctors who could whip me up a coronary in a syringe? Phenobarbital, but it's traceable. Know if he's on any medications? Suddenly, I almost feel like laughing. Here I am, alone with my kind, wealthy, and ridiculously charming new boyfriend, walking down a moonlit beach on his private island, casually talking about taking down a dangerous man. What even is my life these days? But then I remember something that gets me very thoughtful. Maybe his brother talked about how he would need more than his pills if he kept letting his temper get the better of him. I used to goad him to try and get him into the hospital again, because he will literally get that worked up. Damn. That's cold, girl. But he's laughing, and I laugh a little too. I can certainly understand your motives, though. I wouldn't want to be trapped under him either. Now there's a mental image I'll have to scrub out of my head with bleach, I complain, and he laughs. Sorry, sweetheart. My bad. Any way of finding out what his medication is? Once we get back, I can try and check when I meet with him. He winces in response. That means you'll have to go away for a while. Don't like that. Yeah, I don't like it either, but neither one of us has much of a choice if we want this resolved. I try not to sound too annoyed at his clinginess. I get the feeling that he's no more used to being in love than I am. You don't date steadily much, do you? I venture, and he shrugs easily and shakes his head. Never met anyone I wanted to date long-term before. He gazes at me softly, and I feel my heart starting to beat so fast that I get dizzy. Oh, I manage, realizing that if he's out of his depth here, I'm definitely the same. And as much as I like it, that's exactly as much as it scares me.
Chapter 8. Atalanta.
3 weeks into my stay on Kieran's private island, I start feeling a little restless, especially in the mornings. My stomach's been acting up, which wouldn't bother me so much if it weren't for the fact that, for the first time in my life, I'm actually in a romantic relationship that's gotten serious fast. That, and I can't remember if we'd used protection or not during that first crazy night after his party. I know that Kieran normally uses them, and I know that he's so smooth about it that he barely has to break stride to roll one on. But did we forget that night? In all the excitement? I mean, I forgot all about murdering him, so next to that, forgetting the rubber seems like a small thing. But it isn't a small thing if I'm pregnant with Kieran's child. It's a very, very dangerous thing. I'm not ready to be a mom, but more importantly, I've already learned how dangerous it is for a kid who grows up with one of Lucchesi's hitters as a parent. If I have a child and Lucchesi lives, he'll try to stake a claim on him or her. If that child is a girl, Lucchesi will try to stake a different kind of claim. I'll gun him down in broad daylight before I'll allow anything like that to happen. I have no way of knowing for certain if I'm pregnant, not until I see a doctor. But when I realize my period is a week late on top of the weird morning queasiness, I know I need to get some time alone to sort this all out. I manage to keep my suspicions from Kieran for another 5 days as we prepare for our return to the civilization of New York City. Lucchesi is calling me every day now, wanting to know why the guy isn't dead. I have started reflecting the blame for the extra time it's taking back on him, claiming that since Lucchesi made such a big deal about Kieran refusing to work for him, now Kieran is all too aware that any hitters that come for him are likely under Lucchesi's employ. But as I finally take a cab back from Kieran's place after almost a month away from my small apartment, I know that a face-to-face confrontation with Lucchesi is coming. It has to, because I need more information about him to put him down. After a month living in luxury, my apartment looks like a cell in a nunnery. Small, plain, everything well made, but literally the simplest and cheapest I could find. The gun safe is built into my bed. The cash safe is built into the pantry floor. They and their contents are the most expensive things I own. Everything else is expendable. Except me, of course, no matter what Lucchesi seems to think. My first trip upon getting home is to my gynecologist's office to confirm what I pretty much already know. Pregnant, definitely, and a few weeks along. I walk out of the place with an even greater sense of urgency. Lucchesi has to die. I spend the rest of my first day back going through my place, looking at all my gear and weighing all the possibilities. Cut brake lines and bombs are for public, identified hits. Medical emergencies and freak accidents are not. I end up doing a lot of VPN-shielded searching on illicit substances that might work, and on illicit substances used for heart conditions. It isn't enough. I need a meeting with the creep so I can check his meds firsthand. Fortunately, he doesn't leave me waiting. So you're back in town and the creep isn't dead yet. You want to explain yourself? He demands over the phone. Sure. Apparently you need a refresher on what good security looks like, I snap back. It's even snarkier than I am with him usually, and that makes him pause in shock for a few seconds. Then he starts spluttering. Don't make fun of me. Do you think it's fun seeing you screwing up so bad that you leave your own assassin wanting to lecture you on guard rotations and security camera angles? No. It's not fun. Because I don't want to see you or especially your poor brother die because of a mistake like that. He goes quiet for a few seconds, then growls dryly, I'm flattered. Now how about you come in and we'll debrief you? I still don't get why all of this is taking you so damn long. I'll explain when I get there. Your penthouse? Yeah. 3 hours, he snaps warningly. On the nose. Creep. Understood. When I get there, there's a big, menacing-looking bodyguard standing on either side of Lucchesi's desk. He smiles at me smugly, as I look between the guards in confusion. What's with the extra man candy? I ask casually. Did you switch teams or are they for me? His expression collapses for a moment, before he reassembles his vaguely threatening little smirk. Let's just say there are some questions about your loyalty lately. I want you to convince me that they aren't true. Convince you? I put my fists on my hips and stare at him, and down the barrel of all the consequences I'll be facing if I just shoot him. I can probably take out both his bodyguards as well, but then I'd have to shoot his brother, who would collapse into grief and vengeance if I kill his only family. How the hell are you expecting me to convince your paranoid ass of anything? I've taken twice as long on jobs before, but you've been riding my ass about this one since the beginning. What's the problem here? His mouth works as his brother watches him. He doesn't want to voice his real protest in front of his brother, or the two giants flanking him. The truth is, Kieran is attractive, charming, popular, and way closer to my age, and Lucchesi is an aging, intensely disliked slug in a suit who to some degree knows it. I can see the jealousy riding in his tiny eyes. If my loyalty to you has changed, after all the abuse, all the nonsense, and all the time you've spent staring at my cleavage, you would know at once, because there would be a bullet in your head. It's half threat and half reassurance. Now be reasonable, his brother is saying in a trembling voice, and I shoot him an apologetic look that calms him considerably. Then I focus back on Johnny, whose lips are trembling. He barks a laugh that sounds a little high and nervous, then finds his voice and just laughs at me. That's cute, kid. Real cute. We both know I'd spit that bullet back out and beat the hell out of you. If you say so. I smile broadly and he stops laughing. Anyway, explain to me again where the concern comes from? How about instead we start with you telling me where that tan comes from, or all those freckles? I narrow my eyes. I kind of hate redhead genetics sometimes. It shows almost instantly when you've been somewhere sunny, and I had been somewhere sunny for a month. You think the guy's gonna convalesce in town? He went to Mexico. And yeah, I got sunburnt, thanks for the reminder. He took you to Mexico, and you wonder why I'm concerned about your loyalties. His eyebrows are up, and he's staring at me way too steadily. He didn't take me to Mexico. I followed him there. I've been camping in the bush outside his resort for 32 days, boss. I have mosquito bites all over and my skin has peeled off twice. Tell me about how any of that is a vacation. I dare you. I don't like lying and I'm not very good at it, but fortunately, Lucchesi is just as stupid today as he was when I left him. Oh, he mutters. I just figured. You think I can't follow a lazy rich drunk to a private island? Boss, the guy's high 3/4 of the time he's awake. I stowed away on his damn boat. The only thing that kept me from pitching him over the side was that he had 6 bodyguards with him. That got me a shocked look. 6? Damn. He laughs again. At least he knows enough to fear me. Huh. Yeah, so blame his paranoia for the delay, not me. You're the one who tells me you'd prefer slow over sloppy, and you don't want this death traced back to you. He grunts, calming down considerably, though resentment lingers in his tiny eyes. Yeah, well, maybe I'm starting to change my mind on that one. He needs punishment, and why the hell should I be afraid of his boss finding out? My eyebrows rise and I open my mouth to answer, but his brother steps in again. Brother, come on. You know what Don Ezio said. The families don't want us stirring up Dubois. He's got way too much dirt on us all. He's destroying his hat again, wringing it between his nervous hands. I can imagine him mentally begging his brother to see reason. Trying to keep him stable, trying to keep him alive. You poor fool. I don't care, he snarls, and I have to force myself to keep my outward calm. He turns to me, his erratic temper spiking again. Something's fishy here and I damn well know it. For a split second, my confidence wavers. Did he send a spy after me to the party? How much does he actually know about me and Kieran? How much is he capable of finding out? Pull it together. He's trying to rattle you. That's what he does. He tries to intimidate everyone around him, even the one guy who loves him unconditionally. Worse, while he's grilling me like this, I can't excuse myself to the bathroom to check his medicine. If I do, he'll see it as an attack of nerves, a chance to pull myself together and practice my lies. He's watching me like a hawk. Damn. I've never failed before, I say firmly. I've got a vested interest in not messing this up. But you know what's going to contribute to any delays? Being dragged into meetings like this one. He glares. Sorry to waste your time. What you're doing is breaking my concentration. I've been working my way in closer to McDonough for a month. Now that he's back in New York and his guard's down, it should be a lot easier. He perks up like a kid offered cookies. So you'll get it done? You'll be at a funeral soon enough. Only thing is, it's going to be yours. He nods, the smug smile lingering on his thick lips. Yeah, all right, that's what I like to hear. I guess he must be pretty paranoid, huh? He left the country to heal on the slightest hint that he might have been poisoned, boss. That makes him bellow with laughter. 6 bodyguards after a single incident that left him with what? A stomach ache? Yeah. I definitely have that guy running scared. So? I ask mildly. Are you going to let me go get my job done, or interrogate me more? He waves a meaty hand dismissively. Go on, get out of here. Give me an update when you have a plan to get close to him again. You may have to just pick off all his guards. And suddenly, I see an opportunity to kill some of his suspicions. By doing something completely in character, for someone who still hates and fears the financial leash he has around her neck. I stare at him. That much risk is going to cost you more. His smirk vanishes. Oh, really? That's 7 people dead, not 1. And at least 6 of them will be shooting back. I'll do it, but I want extra hazard pay, no exceptions. I watch him steadily while his mouth works. It takes him a few moments to digest this. I'm not hesitating on any principle or out of fear. Instead, I'm demanding more money. Just like any professional faced with a bigger job than she signed on for. It seems to satisfy him. Fine, I'll give you an extra 10,000 a head off your debt for the other 6. 20. I glare at him, as hard and determined about my debt as ever. He doesn't know I'm not planning to do the job at all. This argument is identical to one we've had before. 15. And you've got 2 weeks to straighten this all out. That's final. His expression goes stony. I sigh and nod. Fine. But I warned you about setting a deadline with this guy. Rush me and you'll get poorer performance. He reddens. You want the extra money? Get it done. Now get out of here. I walk out with my blood simmering, brimming over with a lot of different emotions. Relief that I diffused the situation. Disgust that I can't just shoot him for being a creep and get it over with. Worry over his suspicion and impatience. But most of all, I think about Kieran. Kieran the romantic partner, Kieran the rogue, a man I will never hurt at all if I can avoid it. Kieran, who wants me to run away with him, and doesn't seem to quite grasp how dangerous my unfinished business with Lucchesi is. Kieran, who is the father of my child, but who doesn't know that yet. And now that I know that I'm really pregnant, everything's going to change really, really fast.
Chapter 9. Kieran.
I know that something is up with Atalanta as soon as I see her. She's usually so bold, but when she smiles at me, she has something in her expression that I'm not used to. Apprehension. When she can't hold my gaze for more than a few seconds, that confirms it. Something's up, something she's hesitating to tell me. When I hug her and kiss her, she doesn't relax against me completely. That bothers me even more. What is it? I ask her. Did Lucchesi go crazy on you? No, it's not that. She sighs against my chest as she leans on me. Her heart is beating too fast for comfort. I mean, he did, but I handled him. Bought more time. But I didn't get a chance to look at his medications. He grilled me and threw me out, and he had bodyguards there. That doesn't sound so good. You said that you handled it. Yeah, but he suspects Kieran. He doesn't know anything for certain, but I vanished for a damn month. I convinced him that it's just a long stalk like some of my other jobs, but he's ready to send me up against your entire security team alone just to get to you. I stiffen, anger flashing through me. He plans to get you killed doing this. I guess he thinks of me as a liability. She goes with me easily as I lead her over to the couch and settle onto it with her in my arms. Because I'm a woman, because I am the second generation to work for him, and the father he actually respected has been gone a long time, and because he's an impatient man, baby, who doesn't like it when people stand up to him. He's an idiot. But I get your point. The longer you wait on killing him, the harder it will be to hide the truth from him. And if he finds out, he'll probably call in a lot of favors to hunt us down. We should just leave again. Just take off. I can do my work remotely. No, she sighs as she leans against me. If we run, he'll know, and he'll hunt us. He'll use more people than he thinks he needs. Hell, I'm surprised he didn't just start sending more assassins after you. Confusion fogs my brain more than the cig I was just enjoying. If you don't think we should be running, what has you so stressed? She looks away from me again. Nothing. I sigh. You're a bad liar, Atalanta. Spill it, okay? Save us some time and arguing. Okay, she mutters, reddening under all those freckles. Okay. She hesitates and looks up at me. Kieran, once we sort out how to kill Lucchesi and get it done, what do we do next? I grin briefly. Live happily ever after? She can't help but smile at the idea for a moment, but then it fades, and she looks mildly worried all over again. Which means she's actually scared about something, and hiding it. Well, nice thought, but I meant specifics. Oh, live happily ever after in a New York City that's free of that jerk Lucchesi, whether you work for my boss or not. I'm not sure what conversation she's walking around, instead of straight out having with me. Look, please. Again, spit it out, okay? I know something's wrong, and tippy-toeing around the subject won't help anyone. She frowns. Look. I got some news today that kind of changes things, and ever since that happened, I've been worrying. Oh. Worrying why? She stares at me. Her mouth works. She takes a deep breath. I'm pregnant, Kieran. My doctor just verified it. Everything stops. It's like slamming into the ground after a long fall. I stare at her, suddenly breathless. Pregnant? I manage after almost a minute. Geez. Her lips tremble slightly. I can tell she's regretting telling me. But I'm glad as hell she did without my having to dig for the truth myself. Because I know whose kid it is, whose kid it has to be. Mine. My kid. I'm going to be a dad. Damn, I mumble incredulously. I started feeling sick the last week we were on your island, she admits in a rush, now that I'm not having a negative freak out over the whole thing. I had my suspicions. Almost took off, but realized I had better at least be honest with you. Oh my. If she took off with my baby in her belly, and Lucchesi after her. No. Please. Don't do that, okay? Come with me. We'll run away instead. My heart feels like it's going to beat its way out of my chest. I have spent my entire life being the rogue, the creative semi-anarchist who listens to his conscience far more than the law. I've always had illicit substances and booze around. I've always made my best decisions and even defended myself while at least a bit high. And now, Christ, I actually have to try and be a responsible adult from now on. Not to mention a good example. Damn it. How did this happen? The usual way, dumbass. I still can't remember if I even used protection the first wild time that Atalanta and I were together. Did I mess up? Was it just luck? Either way, there's a baby on the way, and I can already tell that fatherhood is going to be on the table no matter what I do. Thing is, it can be fatherhood at a distance, like my dad did, never laying aside the booze or getting his life together or, for God's sake, not being a jerk to mom. At least I know I'm better than him on those last two things. But can I do better? If I'm gonna be a dad, and a better one than the one I grew up under, I have to be there. And sober a lot of the time. Damn. Okay. Get it together, McDonough. Atalanta is staring at me, like she half expects me to tell her we're through. Or to get rid of the baby. Or anything besides what I really want, which is to run back to the island with her, and sort all of this out without any idiots interfering. I swallow hard. I want to keep you and the baby in my life, Atalanta. And obviously, you can't go after Lucchesi. I know right away that I've made a mistake, been too damn blunt. Why the hell not, she snaps. He deserves it, and you know I'm capable. You're pregnant, I start, and she rolls her eyes. All the more reason to take Lucchesi out before he causes us any more problems. Besides, it's not like I'm 8 months along and having trouble walking upstairs. I know that, I say quickly, really not wanting to sound like a jerk. I don't mean it like that, but you know it's got to put you off your game at least some. Besides, what if you get hurt and something happens to the baby? She's glaring at me now. This is not a good sign. Look, cut me a break. I just found out I'm gonna be a dad. And I just found out I'm going to be a mom. I'm not going to go into debt to you or your boss by having you take care of my problems, Kieran. Because I know that's what you'll propose next. My face falls. Sometimes I wish she wasn't quite so perceptive. We can't let Lucchesi near you again. It's too dangerous. We should leave Atalanta. Leave, get someone else to kill him, and then come back and live our lives. We can't run for it, she argues. I wish we could. I can see the regret on her face in giving me all this information at once. But what can you do when you're facing hard reality with someone you love? You have to tell the truth. And maybe she's right. She's certainly earnest. Kieran, we can't. He's watching me very, very closely. I don't even know why he's so suspicious, and that's pretty worrying. She folds her arms tightly, almost hugging herself. Truth is that I took massive detours just to make sure nobody followed me here, and I'm still worried that someone saw me anyway. She toys with her braid in that way she does when she's upset and trying to hide it. I have to kill him, Kieran. If we run from him, we'll be running forever. And to kill him, without everyone in the 5 families coming after me, I need to fake a medical emergency. I need the information on his prescriptions. I really don't want to hear this. Endangering her safety to mollify someone like that, just for a piece of intel. It could buy us time, but I have a better idea. Trust me, I say with my most dazzling smile. All we have to do is get you back to the island. Then we can regroup, get someone to handle Lucchesi, and end up with plenty of time to get used to this whole impending parenthood thing. Which I'm still kind of in shock over. Islands don't have prenatal care, she reminds me. So, I'll have a personal doctor flown in. I know some trustworthy people. She nods slightly, conceding this, but still looks worried. Okay, yeah, you have the cash for that. And that's great. But you know, Lucchesi isn't stupid. Or at least he's not that kind of stupid. The longer I stay away, the more likely he'll send someone after both of us. Or have people waiting when we try to return. And he already knows you were somewhere south of the border, or I wouldn't have come back with that tan. Not at this time of year. South of the border isn't narrowing it down much, I insist, but she does have a point about what could happen when we get back to New York. Look, if you want to go under the radar with me for the safety of our kid, I can understand that, she says finally. I even halfway agree. But don't pretend that I've suddenly lost all my ability to look after myself, because there's a bun in the oven. Don't insult me like that. I squirm internally, because what is the point of being tough and badass and all of that, if you end up losing the baby from one kick to the stomach? It's not like that, I insist. I believe in you. I know you're tough. Then what's the damn problem? Why not take care of this creep instead of running from him? She huffs. I'm not suddenly made of glass. No, but all this craziness has me realizing just how much I want to take care of you. How much I want to keep you safe. Look, I actually have to struggle for words. All my smoothness is suddenly gone. It's embarrassing, but somehow that seems to catch her attention even more than usual. This pregnancy thing has hit me in the face with just how much I've come to care about you, I confess finally. I don't think I'd be as happy as I am shocked to find out you're carrying my child if that wasn't true. I want a tie to you, Atalanta. For better or for worse and for good. Her eyebrows climb during my speech and she finally blinks and says, wow. Okay. Look. Kieran, Her phone shrills. We both look down at it as she pulls it out, and her face falls. Creep's calling me back. Don't answer it, I urge. Let's just pack and go. Pick a place. Anywhere you'd like. But don't go back to that man. Uncertainty flickers in her eyes. If I don't answer, he'll be suspicious. He's already suspicious. He already has 2 new goons on his payroll, and he's checking up way more than usual. Her scowl deepens. I'm sure he also has more hitters on his payroll now than just me. All the more reason to get out of town. This has to work. I need to get away with her again, and I need to let Dubois know what is going on. I'm reluctant to do the latter, because the boss is a busy man, and I know Atalanta doesn't want to owe anyone. But I'll take the debt for her, if need be, just to keep her safe. Kieran, she breathes, and I know she's conflicted and confused. I can see it in her face. She's never been able to hide much from me. The man's out of his head for revenge. He'll never stop chasing us. I take a deep breath, and then reach over and cup her face gently. Then we can at least buy time, and choose where we fight him and how. Her eyes go limpid for a moment in a way I haven't seen before, and I feel it from heart to groin. I'll go with you, she says finally. Her phone rings again. Again, she doesn't answer it. I smile. Let's get packing. 2 of my security guys take turns driving us non-stop to Chicago. Not my first choice, and not hers either. She's chosen it because of mob politics, which she has long experience with. Chicago is run by another family, and they are hostile to Lucchesi and his people. She's exhausted, grumbling about feeling tired, and like she's slacking off somehow by resting. The pregnancy is very early, but I still wonder if it's already draining her. Making a whole person has to be very taxing. I'm already stunned by the whole prospect. It seems magical. It makes me want to watch her every moment, both to keep them safe, and simply to see what amazing thing might happen next. I don't really care how that would look to some dull, woman-hating creep like Lucchesi. I send a coded message to Dubois via text. Leaving for Chicago. I have a situation here, and could use some advice, at minimum. Please contact me as soon as is convenient. Nobody ever rushes Dubois, not even in an emergency. I watched a guy learn that the hard way once. I'm not ever going to be that guy. But I really hope he can help us out. I'm a smart, adaptable guy, but on the run with the mother of my child is brand new territory.
Chapter 10. Atalanta.
We come together twice within the first hour of arriving in Chicago. It's not just about passion anymore, we both feel it. This has become something deeper. And it's not only because of the baby. Kieran said it best once he finally spat it out. The baby had simply made us both realize what would have happened were I pregnant or not. The baby didn't make the union, it only grew from it and forced us to understand. It's pretty overwhelming, even if my emotions weren't all over the place, from whatever pregnancy is doing to my hormones. After the second time, as we lie tangled together at the foot of a hotel penthouse's enormous bed, I leak tears onto his chest. "You okay?" he murmurs into my hair, half asleep. "I'm getting there," I say honestly. But my mind is racing. Right now, I have no idea how we're going to get out of this without straight up murdering Lucchesi and getting the 5 families royally pissed at us. I actually wouldn't mind if I ended up leaving New York forever, but I can't say the same for Kieran. That's the part that we may end up in debt to his boss for. Smoothing all those ruffled feathers because we killed a crazed, obsessed jerk in self-defense. But the thing is, Dubois is an unknown variable to me. Secretive, keeps his cards close to his chest. Even Kieran, who talks about everything at length, doesn't talk about him much. Is Dubois really that much better of an alternative to Lucchesi? Or is he just another creep to get into debt to, for the rest of my life? Is Kieran fooled? Or is he that good of an actor, and deceiving me to try and draw me in? I can't figure it out. But I know I'm running out of options, and it scares me. Lucchesi calls again, as I'm starting to fall asleep. I check the time, not even 7 at night, so I don't have much excuse to dodge his call. But I want to. I never want to hear his voice again, really. Being away from Lucchesi is like being with Kieran. It feels as essential as air, as freedom. It's almost painful to think of picking up that phone. I reach for it. Kieran, whom I thought was completely asleep, catches my hand. "No. Let him stew. He can't find us." I want to believe him. But I don't. I can't. And if I say that, if I challenge him on leaving after everything, I know he'll take it as an insult. He's the one who prides himself on thinking on his feet. I trust you. That much is true. I trust his intentions, at least. But I wish he would listen when I try to warn him that there's no real way of shaking Lucchesi forever. But for a while, I decide to pretend that's not true, in the hopes that I'll believe it. And if I believe it hard enough, maybe a big, potentially deadly confrontation with my boss on his terms won't happen. I don't hear from Lucchesi again. In fact, my phone doesn't ring for 3 days. But then, I get a phone call from someone else, a colleague of my father's who moved on to work for another offshoot of the family's. Danny? It's weird to hear from you after 10 years, I say, getting straight to the point. Is everything all right? Danny's ex-military and built like a truck, and his voice is deep and raspy. Don't give me that crap, kid. I know something's going on, and I know you're at the heart of it. Now, you want to explain this to me? I go a little cold, feeling like a kid who is in trouble with her uncle. Which part? I probe, buying time to prepare an explanation he'll hopefully accept. The part where you took off on Lucchesi, and the guys put a money's no object hit out on you. Crap. Here we go. I freeze, stopped right in the doorway on my way to grab a drink from the fridge. Out in the suite's living room, Kieran leans forward, worry etched into his features as he peers at me. A hit. Geez, Danny, I've been chasing a guy for him for the last month. I'm still playing innocent, suddenly feeling embarrassed by doing something as banal and normal as fall in love. Looks like you caught him, and then forgot what you were supposed to do with him. They grabbed your doctor and interrogated her, Atalanta. My heart starts pounding, and I have to lean against the doorway. Oh gosh. She's dead then. An innocent bystander, killed for her association with me. You bet she's dead. He shot her right in front of one of his new bodyguards. The guy's a friend of mine. He's already thinking of leaving. Now you want to fill in the rest for me, or are you gonna keep wiggling? Damn. It wasn't quite like being interrogated by my dad as a teenager, but it sure felt like it. Okay, listen. First off, none of this would have happened if Lucchesi hadn't gone off the rails in the first place. I'm away from that situation, and I'm safe. Your doctor puts you at 6 weeks pregnant. Means the kid was conceived the same time that you ran off to some steamy island in Mexico to track this guy. He sounds a little embarrassed to be talking about this. You know he knows the damn truth, Atalanta. Kieran has come up behind me. He has his hand on my back. Part of me wants to turn around and push him away. The rest is praying that the news I have for him doesn't get any worse. How does that translate outside of New York State? Because you know I'm nowhere near there right now. I got all the way out of the 5 families' territory. Danny splutters briefly and then sighs hard. He knows you're in Chicago, Atalanta. That's why he's hiring outside hitters. Family men from over here wouldn't be welcome there. He knows where we are. Already? How? Oh gosh, I whisper before I can stop myself. I don't know anything else, or I would be spilling it. He sounds very tired. Just tell me that Boston creep's worth it, sweetheart. I don't want to apologize to your father's grave when they lay you next to it. Especially anytime soon. No chance of that, I say firmly, even though my stomach suddenly feels like it's leaping around inside of me. Good. Danny sighs again. Good luck. And trust me, don't underestimate how crazy this guy's gone now that you've taken off on him. Oh, I won't. I hang up, feeling faint, and almost slide down the doorframe until Kieran catches me. What is it? I only caught half of that. Kieran steps around to face me, shifting his grip to hold me up firmly. You okay? No. Lucchesi knows what happened. He knows we're in Chicago. The whole mess of a story spills out of me while he stands there wincing. How can he know we're in Chicago? We didn't give him a flight to track, no bank transactions. We checked for people tailing us regularly while we were on the road. We checked your belongings and the car for transmitters. Kieran frowns, and I can practically see the wheels in his head turning. He's not apologizing for getting me to run, but he's doing his best. He's trying to fix this. To solve the puzzle. But the answer he comes up with pisses him off. Damn, he must have paid off some of my security guys. Probably one of the guys who drove us up here. One or both. Okay. Okay. No more tap dancing around the truth then. I grab for my suitcase, dump it out, and rip open the false bottom from its Velcro moorings. Kieran stares as he sees the small arsenal I brought with me. Geez. I thought we talked about you slowing down. Something snaps inside of me. I've been patient. I let him take the lead. I second-guessed my own expertise because Kieran's so confident, and we're so drawn to each other. But now. You talked about it. I growl at him, pissed off at myself that I didn't listen to my instincts and bring this fight to Lucchesi instead of running to begin with. But there's no point in slowing down when men with guns are after us. Kieran's a money guy. He works for a crime lord. He's not one himself. What the hell would he even know about the bloody side of mob business? One mugging when he was drunk? He charmed me out of killing him, but Lucchesi can't be charmed or negotiated with, or made to see reason. He can't even be intimidated, any more than a rabid dog could. His loving brother has scars from his rages. I have seen him take them. Seen him stand there bleeding while he tries to keep his brother from making a deadly mistake. We tried it your way, Kieran, I growl as I screw a suppressor onto my 10mm pistol. But Lucchesi knows, and that changes everything. If he dies now, the families will blame me because he's chasing me. He can't be killed subtly or quietly, or via an accident. He and some of his men, including at least one creep in the suite downstairs, need bullets. Nothing less. His shocked look doesn't do much for my confidence in him. I need him on board, or we're finished before we start. If you've got a protest, say it now. Because Lucchesi is sending hitters, plural, with a massive bounty on both our heads, and they know exactly where we are. But while you're protesting, I give him a hard smirk. Stay away from the windows. Kieran stands silent for a few moments, then nods. We have to talk about this. Seriously. But you're right. This is not the time. Let me have the shotgun. You've probably got better aim than me. Oh, honey, I definitely have better aim than you. I just hope it's enough. Fine, you can hide it under your long coat. My pistols slip into shoulder holsters under my loose cotton jacket. I check for an imprint against the fabric, none. How are we going to find out which of the drivers betrayed us? I'm thinking, he mutters, pacing back and forth in a tight pattern. He doesn't look at me. He's pissed off, I realize. Pissed off that I was right. Pissed off that he didn't foresee the possibility of some of his men being paid off. But that's fine. I'm pissed off that Lucchesi tortured and killed my gynecologist, so I can understand that part of his anger. The part one won't forgive is his anger at me, the little grudging twist to his tone that tells me he's going along with this whole mess not because he wants to but because it's what's practical. He doesn't want to admit he was wrong. That just makes me want to rub it in his stubborn face. It's bad enough that he's gotten us into a life and death situation, but does he have to be childish about it? Deal with it later. But I know it will fester in the back of my head until we're both alone again.
Chapter 11. Kieran.
I'm a peaceful man, mostly. My response when someone challenges me is to talk, to find common ground, to negotiate. Violence is my last resort. But that doesn't mean I can't hold my own in a fight. I just try to avoid it. You can't bring someone you've killed back to life, can't take back a bullet. But right now, I'm almost eager to put a bullet in one or two of my employees for betraying me. It's an unfamiliar feeling, and I don't like it. The worst part of all of it, though, is that Atalanta seems almost eager for the confrontation ahead. There is a gleam in her eye that I don't like even more than the feeling of betrayal. I know she's got blood on her hands. That's the job. And although I am hardly a guy who plays by the rules, I really spent the last month hoping that she would put all that violence behind her now that she was walking away from Lucchesi. Especially now that she is going to be the mother of my child. I mean, if I'm going to give up partying, pot, and a lot of my drinking, it seems fair to expect her to give up killing people. Except right now killing people seems necessary. Maybe I'm not angry at her at all. Maybe I'm just pissed off that it's come to this. Not to mention, I'm a little uncomfortable that my woman is so trigger-happy. If that ends up being what saves us today, maybe I'll start changing my mind. But right now, the shotgun under my raincoat is a very unwelcome weight. I have done background checks on both of the men from my security team who drove us down. Nothing has come up so far that might have made it easy for Lucchesi to get to them. This means that it could still be either man. That leaves it up to me to draw out the truth, to manipulate them into a position where the one who betrayed me shows his hand. And once that is done, and I am certain which creep ruined my escape, I will have to dispense some street justice. And I hate that, but the mother of my child enjoys it way too much for me to let her do it. I never want to do anything to encourage her to think of life as cheap. The only other alternative is to start nagging my boss again, but Dubois has not been in contact. I'm starting to think that this is quite deliberate. I don't know if that's because I've done something wrong, or because he's working behind the scenes and doesn't want to interrupt his progress by answering my questions. Maybe he wants to see if I can handle a situation like this on my own, with only my staff, resources, wits, and my woman. Or maybe he's decided that if we are going to give the benefit of the doubt to Atalanta, she needs to prove her value to his organization. Whatever the case, I don't feel abandoned. I just wish that the boss had picked a different time to stop talking to me. I've got it, I say finally. I know how to take control of this situation. She turns to me expectantly. She seems a little impatient. I wonder if this has to do with her blaming me for her boss finding out. Or maybe for using drivers instead of just going ourselves. Or something else. So what is it? She snaps impatiently. Spring their trap. Instead of waiting here for an attack, we have them drive us out to a remote area where Lucchesi can set up an ambush with enough warning. But not much of an ambush. Say, give him an hour. He'll be in the area, since he'll want to watch us die personally. You have mentioned his sadistic streak more than once. She goes quiet for a few beats and then nods. Agreed. However, walking into an ambush goes completely against my instincts. We don't have control of the area we're walking into. He does. True, but what he doesn't have control of is himself. You keep talking about his big ego, his out-of-control temper, and his drinking. All these things mess up his judgment. Otherwise, your buddy wouldn't have been able to get his warning out to us. I still want to recon when we get there. And what about the drivers? I give her a grim look. If they drive us into a trap, and one of them tries to kill us, we shoot him. If they drive us into a trap and both of them turn on us, shoot them both. That makes her smile alarmingly again. Now you're speaking my language. My face falls. That's part of the problem, I admit. But we can talk about that later. The two drivers, Brad and William, have both been working for me for more than 3 years. I haven't paid enough attention to really tell the two of them apart. Both still keep their Navy SEAL crew cuts and tend to show up in military clothing to any given job. Both have bland faces and brown eyes. When did I get this out of touch? How many people have I hired, kept on my payroll, and trusted with my security that I don't really know at all? How effective, exactly, is what I considered high-level protection services up until now? Not very, I think. I've been enjoying myself too much and protecting myself too little. And as the men whose loyalty I'm now questioning drive us out to an old factory location I'm claiming an interest in buying, I look at the plans for the place online with a chill running up and down my spine. The new woman in my life, the mother of my child, chose not to kill me when it was her job. It's put her at risk right alongside me. Then she trusted my plan to escape New York without violence, only to see it blow up in our faces. And here we are. And I am sick to death of feeling her resentful glances when she thinks I'm not looking. The guy renting it has his office set up inside, I say as I direct our driver from the back seat, the shotgun hidden under the edge of my coat. Just drive us in. I don't want this firefight. I just want to end this and escape with Atalanta and our baby in the chaos that will follow. There's a big empty space in the middle of the floor. My driver rolls to a stop in the middle of it and sets the parking brake. "Should I keep the engine running, sir?" Then a floodlight comes on, dazzling us as it fills the warehouse interior. It's a maze of boxes inside, and standing on the steel stairs leading up to the supervisor's office is Lucchesi and 6 big, nasty-looking men with rifles. My blood goes cold. This is more than an ambush. This is the endgame. "Get out of the car." The hard voice comes from beside me, not from Lucchesi. I kick my door open and dive out. She does the same on the other side. The 2 drivers don't move fast enough and convulse as gunfire shatters my windshield. Atalanta is screaming something to me as she shoves her door open and dives out. I can't make any of it out as I tumble out of the car on the other side and duck behind a shipping crate. The sedan still being battered with .45 slugs, the firearm equivalent of a temper tantrum. I hear the crack of a smaller gun, Atalanta's, and the spotlight shatters, temporarily plunging the car into darkness as we flee in different directions. The bullets don't follow us, still focusing on pounding the hell out of the car. It means that Lucchesi sees blood and thinks we're still in there too, getting chewed to pieces by those bullets, unable to get out through the open doors in time. That's why she shot the spotlight, to cover our escape. His fault for staying that far up there, like a skybox user at a spectator sport. And suddenly, even if one or both were Judases, I feel really bad for both of my drivers. Now I'll never know which one turned on me, or was blackmailed, or was forced. I almost yell for Atalanta to take our baby and run. But the whole point of springing this trap is to finish things once and for all. Next time, it might not be guys with auto rifles. It could be snipers from 1,000 feet away, taking my family from me, or taking me from my family. No. I just got them. He's not taking them away from me, ever. I have to admit, I seem to be the kind of guy who learns best by being smacked in the face repeatedly by something he's ignored. Like the possibility that I will have to get my hands very dirty, at least once in the course of dealing with mobsters. Like the possibility that when the son of a gun in question is threatening my woman, I'll enjoy dirtying my hands. As we scurry for the shadows of the warehouse and the spotlights sweep around looking for us, I lose sight of Atalanta for over a minute and have to fight down panic. But then I see her, slowly creeping up the stairs at the far end of the warehouse with one of her heavy pistols drawn. She is going straight for her now ex-boss, and I seize up in fear for her. I want to call out to her. I want to know right now what she thinks she's doing, and if she's going to let me in on it. We're supposed to be a team. Then she glances over, quickly scanning my general area, and continues on her way. Then it hits me. Maybe she trusts me to be smart enough to figure out what she needs to do her part up there. It's like a revelation. In our own way, we did come up with this plan together. We just didn't talk it over enough in the right ways, and don't trust each other enough yet. We have a lot of work to do. But maybe, just like the night she came to kill me, I can anticipate her plans. She's moving from shadow to shadow as she makes her way around the room. But Lucchesi's men are turning on the rest of the warehouse spotlights, casting a bright glow she can't possibly hide in. With only a pistol in hand, she'll have to get close. But how can she? I watch from my patch of shadow, sorting out what she's doing. She only brought shorter-range weapons that pack a punch and are more easily concealed than a long gun. The sawed-off shotgun in my hands can't take out the men on the walkway. Neither can her pistols. She's trusting me to be smart and clever, like I always am, and find a creative way to back her up. But how? I rack my brains as Lucchesi yells at his men to stop firing. He has to do it a few times before they hear him above the racket they're making. Then their guns go quiet, leaving my ears ringing as I struggle to think. How do I best help Atalanta? I peer up at the dozen blazing spotlights, frowning. She needs more darkness if she's going to move within range. Then it hits me. The breaker box. One of Lucchesi's goons hurries down the steel stairs to check the still smoking hulk of the car. My grip tightens on the shotgun, wondering if I'll have to fight my way to the breaker box in the basement. "Boss," the goon calls out, his harsh smoker's voice drawing the word out weirdly. "Back seat's empty. It's just the security guy and the driver." "Damn. Okay. Time to get moving." "Damn it." Lucchesi yells, and I see him flailing dramatically as he points around. "Spread out. Find them. That little girl's a hitter." The guys get underway, and so do I, backing toward the edge of the warehouse floor where I spied a stairwell leading down. I know what I have to do. I just hope I can get it done before either one of us catches a bullet.
Chapter 12. Atalanta.
This is what trusting a civilian with a combat operation gets me. Creeping through an entirely too well-lit warehouse with a team of 6 well-armed hitters after the both of us. The drivers we suspected of betrayal are both dead. The car's been destroyed. Kieran's nowhere to be seen. I'm hoping he's as good at sneaking around as he is at outsmarting people. I'm worried. If it comes down to it, I'm not sure he can pull the trigger even to save his life. Not that he isn't brave, but I don't trust him not to lose his nerve when it comes to killing. He's already horrified by the idea that I don't hesitate when it comes to, well, doing my job. It's not the job he wants me doing. It's not the job Dad wanted me to do. It's not even the job that I want to do. But right now, it's going to save our lives. If, of course, Kieran actually heard what I yelled to him as we were evacuating the car. If he didn't, I have to trust in his instincts and imagination, and his trust in me. I love Kieran. The idea of him panicking, of him freezing up for that split second that almost always gets people killed, of him dying and leaving me and his baby behind. I can't stand it. It claws at my guts as I creep along the shadowed catwalk running along the outside walls. I should have a rifle for this. If I did, I could have picked off all 6 of the guys looking for us and gunned down Lucchesi too without even changing position. But there's no helping it now. I have to do this the hard way. Time drags on as I inch closer and closer to my target. The 2 guys still guarding the upper catwalks and protecting their boss are looking around distractedly, sweeping with the lights on their automatics, but the warehouse is huge and their lights are cheap and too dim. They can't see me where I am. Not even with the aid of the spotlights. The place is just too huge. But the fact that I can only see 2 on the upper catwalks means that 4 guys are searching the rest of the warehouse. 4 guys who will shoot Kieran on sight. He's smart, he's quick, he has good instincts. I try to remind myself of these things as I hunker in the shadows as close to my target as I dare. Kieran defended himself against 2 gunmen before when he was unarmed and untrained, and right now he has my shotgun. I try to find him in the maze of crates and equipment. I catch movement and get my hopes up, only to see one of the heavies Lucchesi hired stalking along with his auto rifle. Damn. I keep track of his general location mentally as I keep looking. "Come on out, you little tramp," Lucchesi shouts down at me. "I'll have my boys make it nice and quick." I don't answer, as much as hearing his voice at all pisses me off. He's banking on me giving away my position. But I'm a professional, even if I hate the damn job. I grit my teeth and keep moving wordlessly. Did Kieran hear my instructions? Is he headed down to the basement? We studied the building plans. I pointed out the utility room and breaker box on them. Can he get there without being seen? Can he get out without being seen? I wait breathlessly for gunshots, for movement, shouts, any sign that Kieran has been caught. I'm bracing myself for it. And as I slowly work the muscles in my legs to keep them from cramping as I hold position, what floods into my head is Dad and his death. The doctors came to fear my anger by the time that his body finally gave out. No expense had been spared. I had financed my soul to make sure. But all that money, all their work, all my father's fighting and my praying, had ended up doing nothing. Instead, after putting everything possible into saving him, I had to watch him flatline as a wasted figure in a hospital bed. And then, despite failing miserably to do their job, they immediately started demanding payment. If I hadn't been an untried teenager at the time, I might have considered turning on them. When doctors fail, people die. What right do the creeps have to demand payment for failure? Something broke in me that day. Before now, I thought it was my soul, my principles. But now, as I wait to see if Kieran succeeds or gets caught, I can't afford to hope for the best. I want to. I really do. But after Dad, I can't face that hell again armed with nothing but hope. Resignation may work better, if anything works at all. So as I sit there, aching with anticipation, I brace myself for yet another loss. Come on, Atalanta. You can't take on me and 6 guys with machine guns. No way are you that good. He sounds so damn confident. It makes me sick that he gets to gloat all the way up to the moment he dies. But I still don't take the bait. He can talk himself right into an early grave. I'm focused more on Kieran right now, and hoping to God that he makes it. Then the lights go out. What the hell? Lucchesi yells, alarm making his voice crack slightly. Who cut the lights? Get the lights back on. Find her. Find them. I know then that whatever else is true, either Kieran heard me, or he really does understand me well enough to anticipate me. Enough anyway. Enough that we may just survive this. Maybe even survive it, with our relationship intact. Good on you, baby. Now get the hell out of there. I dash toward the stairs leading to the walkway, where Lucchesi is still squatting like an overconfident toad. I know there are at least 2 guards in my way, but with the suppressor on my pistol, the others will have trouble pinning down the direction of my shots in the dark. Especially if I get close enough to hide the muzzle flash against one of their backs. I can track the guys now by the cheap lights bolted to their guns. 3 are sweeping the floor with those inadequate beams, as they mutter at each other over their radios. 1 has vanished, making me very nervous. The other 2 are still patrolling either end of the catwalk that Lucchesi is on. I can see their lights through the mesh of the metal catwalks. You think I'm afraid of the dark, little girl? Lucchesi bellows, voice shaking a little. You think you can scare me with this garbage? You and your boy toy are dead, you hear me? Dead. Stay on target. I move toward the nearest guard slowly, staying low and quiet, knowing that once he goes down, I'll have seconds to put as many bullets into Lucchesi as I can. Instead of 10 deaths of 10 yet-to-be-determined thugs decided on by Lucchesi before my debt is paid, I only have to pull the trigger once here. If I can take out Lucchesi, that number will drop to 0, probably for the rest of my life. And then I'm done. Kieran and I will be free of this garbage and... Gunshots sound downstairs and I freeze. Oh gosh, no. 2 rifle shots. 3. 4. I imagine them going into Kieran's flesh, imagine his merry blue eyes widening, and feel each one like a punch to my heart. But then I hear yelling and loud swearing. Where did he go? I don't know. I couldn't get a clear shot. Then why did you fire, dumbass? There's a lot of flammable stuff in here. Knowing that I'm being an idiot, and blowing my chance of gunning down that fat creep on the catwalk, I turn and dart down the stairs towards the sound of the gunshots. I can take out Lucchesi any damn night. I may only have one chance to help my man fight off a bunch of gunmen. I'm halfway down the stairs when the deeper boom of a shotgun blast echoes off the walls. That's my shotgun, the one I gave Kieran. Damn, he actually pulled the trigger. Damn, comes a shout after a second blast and then another. He got Anthony. He got his damn gun too. I gasp, shocked in the happiest of ways. He did it. No time now to think of what it will do to him later. He's alive, and the guy who shot at him is dead. Good enough. What do I pay you idiots for? Lucchesi is ranting, his voice sounding ridiculously small in the huge space no matter how much effort he puts in. How did you let some druggie get the drop on you? Halfway down the stairs, Kieran hurries up out of the dark at me. I manage not to shoot him despite my shock, caught by the figure's eyes and his wide dare-the-devil grin. I lower my gun and dart down to him. He kisses me fiercely, the rifle in his arms pressing sideways into my midsection. "Hey, I brought you something with longer range," he pants against my lips, pale and shaking with adrenaline, but here, alive, unhurt, victorious. I swear I've never been hornier for him. But I can't exactly think about that now. Instead, I grab the rifle. "Okay. You did good, babe. Now let's finish this." I know better than to leave any guards in line of sight alive. Instead, I prepare myself, and then draw a bead on one of the flashlights. Shift my aim about 1.5 feet back from it. Pull the trigger. One of the guards grunts and I see the light topple to the concrete and go out, immediately followed by a heavy thud. I grab Kieran's hand and we get moving, and bullets ring off the metal stairs right where we were standing. Get her, you idiots," Lucchesi is losing it. He's not even thinking about bragging anymore. I smile and look for my next target. I get another of them, before I get a clear shot at Lucchesi. The guy falls off the catwalk not 10 feet from Lucchesi. My ex-boss's scream doesn't quite cover the gruesome sound of his guard hitting the concrete. There's so much terror in his voice for a moment that I almost feel sorry for him. But then I remember every damn thing he's done, and take aim 6 inches behind the waggling cherry of his cigar. He's messed with the wrong family. I want to run up on him and look him in the eye as I kill him. I want to draw it out. I want to make sure that he's good and scared, and that he knows just how stupid he's been in choosing to mess with me. But I've got other priorities now that are even more important. The longer I stay, the more danger we'll all be in, including the baby in my belly. I pull the trigger in a short burst and hear Lucchesi's grunt of surprise. The cigar falls, and then the figure with it, pitching over the catwalk's safety rail and tumbling to the ground with a heavy final thud. For a moment, it feels like everything flies apart inside of me, and then fits back together again. That's it. My gosh, that's actually it. Lucchesi is dead. Just like that. One wiggle of my finger, and years of torment and frustration end. It almost doesn't seem real. I feel cheated by how anticlimactic it is. But I can't focus on that, because we still have to get out alive. I move down the stairs and Kieran moves as well, beside and just behind me. Seconds later, a light trains on where we just were. I fire on its source and hear another body fall. We keep moving. Are there any more between us and the open maw of the loading bay? I peer into the dark. Yes, one coming up the stairs at us, maybe calculating rightly that we plan to escape that way. Maybe he doesn't realize that the guy paying him is dead. Maybe he knows, and is making this personal over the loss of his paycheck. Either way, he's in our damn way. I can't fire through the stairs at him, there's too much metal between us. But the stairway is shaped in a square spiral. The moment he steps out onto the landing across from and below me, and shines his light up, he'll see me. I want to step completely in front of Kieran, shielding him with my body just in case this goes wrong. But I'm sure he feels the same about me, so I keep my mouth shut and don't do it. I take a deep breath. Focus. Wait. The goon rounds the corner and looks straight up at me, then curses and tries to swing his own rifle up to aim. I pull the trigger. The rifle jams. Oh no, oh damn. In a panic, I throw the whole rifle down the stairs at the guy. It smacks him in the chest and ruins his aim, bullets flying off into the dark. Then, as I'm clawing for my pistol, as I see the guy recovering and taking aim again. A shotgun goes off right next to me. I watch in shock as the guy goes limp and tumbles back down the stairs like a gigantic rag doll. Beside me, I hear Kieran cursing something. As my ears stop ringing, I hear the tail end of it. Hurt my loved ones again. We run down the stairs and outside as the survivors erupt in shouting. Flat out sprinting, dizzy with adrenaline, going straight for another warehouse across the street. Once we have that building between us and the remaining goons, we'll be home free. At least until the families find out that we just killed Lucchesi. But that, we'll have to worry about later. Right now we have to get out of here, on foot because our car was destroyed, and we can't exactly call a cab to the warehouse with angry men with guns around. And then, we have to figure out what in the world is going to come next. I'm not looking forward to either.
Chapter 13. Atalanta.
It's been an hour. The worst should be over. Johnny Lucchesi, blustering sociopath, is dead. We're free. There might still be reprisals from Gianni's brother and underlings, but now that we're riding high on the adrenaline of survival, some of my hope has returned. His brother will be hurting, but at least the man is sane. Maybe he won't chase us to the ends of the earth to avenge a death that Johnny brought on himself. I still feel bad for Mario. He spent the last however many decades trying to keep his man-child brother from walking into a bullet, only to see him walk into mine. I don't know his mind, but maybe after a while he started to see Gianni's death as inevitable. Maybe he had to brace himself for it over and over during a years-long wait for exactly this to happen. But unlike my father, Johnny Lucchesi died of stupidity, after many chances to back off and walk away. And that must have frustrated his brother the whole time. Whatever. He should have saved what's left of his family by shooting his brother in the back years ago. But then I dismissed those cold thoughts, sighing. It's time to focus on the future, not the past. We're alive. Unhurt. The baby's fine too. I just got checked out at the hospital, claiming to have been in a fender bender. But things with Kieran aren't fine. Not at all, and I'm not sure they're going to get better easily. But I still aim to try. I guess we're lucky that we read Lucchesi right, and he really did show up himself, he says after we reach our new hotel room. We're somewhere in a bed and breakfast in the end of southern Illinois, as far from Chicago as we could stand to drive our new rental car before exhaustion set in. Yes. I know what he really wants to talk about. He's just taking his time strolling up to the point. I'm actually grateful for that. I gambled on his showing up. I just wish things hadn't been so bloody. I wasn't prepared. He sounds a little sick. Me neither. My hand slides down to brush over my belly. I wasn't prepared for a lot of things. How big and deadly this ambush would get. This baby. How fast I'd fall for you. So many things, so fast. He laughs softly as he takes off his coat and goes into the bathroom to hang it over the curtain rail. I hear the sound of it rattling. Then he goes silent for a while. Too long. I shuck my jacket and holsters and hurry in to check on him. He's staring at himself in the mirror. There's a haunted look on his face that I know too well. The other shoe has dropped. I brace myself. I'm sorry, Kieran. I've never killed anyone before, he says, cutting off my apology. You did it defending me, yourself, and our child, Kieran. As motives go, it's way better than killing to get out from under a debt, even if the same damn mobsters die. That doesn't help much, he snaps, and I go very quiet, realizing suddenly that I'm on very thin ice. What will? I force out finally. Please just tell me. He's silent for almost a minute, while I fight the urge to fidget. My stomach is in knots. Do you ever get used to it? He asks finally. This feeling? I'm somewhere between thrilled and wanting to throw up everything I've eaten in the last month. No, I admit. It's why so many hitters drink or do illicit substances or end up with a million problems. The adrenaline rush helps you get through short term, but no. If you're human and not some kind of sociopath, it never gets comfortable. And it shouldn't. He looks up at me, expression bleak. But you've been doing this for years. It must have gotten easier. No. I've just gotten better at bearing the pain. And then it all starts spilling out. I hate this job. I hate killing. I get into a mindset like flipping a switch, and I go and do what has to be done, but then afterwards, yes, I'm a damn mess every time. I've had to go off alcohol cold turkey twice, because I started turning to it for comfort. Kieran, please believe me. I used to think I was born to this work, like Lucchesi used to say. Because my dad was good at it. But he paid the same price. I'm tired of it. I look at him pleadingly. So, you're retiring then? His eyebrows go up, and I know I'm starting to get through. Well, I sort of just killed my boss, so I think I quit. I think about it. I'd still fight to protect myself or others, but being an expendable soldier in a mob war has been a nightmare. And then, something happens that I didn't expect. He smiles. The bleakness in his expression gets replaced with relief. You have no idea how good it is to hear you say that, he murmurs and covers my hand with his own. It's not a hug, but it's a start. I can't say that working for that creep didn't change me. But I never got used to it, never wanted it. I was counting the days and the contracts until I got out, always. It feels strange to say these things out loud. Did you think I was just this hardened killer who? I trail off, shocked by the whole idea. I didn't know whether you were a hardened killer or not, Kieran corrects me quickly, gently squeezing my hand. All I've really known this whole time is that I love you too damn much to not give this a try with you anyway. I swallow hard, mind going blank of any possible reply as I take this in. What the hell do you say to something like that? It's messed up, but our lives have been a mess up until now. Especially mine. I love you too, I admit out loud for the first time. And I was pretty damn scared that what happened tonight would be the end of us. Me too. He swallows and looks at me. But you say you're just as sick of all this as I'm feeling right now. I think about all those men, 10 mobsters, who would have shot me without remorse, but who had still been human and alive with families who would mourn them. Kieran, the only good thing that has happened my entire time working for Lucchesi was meeting you, I say. He smiles softly. Yes, but we probably shouldn't tell the real story of how we met to our friends. I laugh, caught completely off guard. No, I really think I want to put all of that behind us. He leans over and kisses me tenderly, and my eyes tear up with relief. As long as we can figure out how to get the families off our back, we're going to survive this. And no matter what happens, we'll be together.
Chapter 14. Kieran. Date, September 25, 2018. Timestamp, 7:45 p.m. To K. McDonough. From A. Dubois. Kieran.
Congratulations on your engagement. The news was somewhat of a surprise, but I trust your judgment as always. I am certain that young Atalanta will be a capable and protective partner to you. I was somewhat disappointed to hear that she will be hanging up her guns, but she is correct. The job takes a psychological toll on those who do it, and she should be focusing on her recovery from that toll, as well as focusing on her life with you and your child. I apologize for staying out of contact, but under the circumstances, it was safer for everyone involved. Atalanta remained an unknown variable, even after her pregnancy. If anything, her willingness to retire makes it somewhat easier to trust her with my best finance man. The families will not be troubling either of you about the death of Johnny Lucchesi. His brother has taken the death with surprising equanimity, especially after a visit from one of my representatives. You are free to return to New York and take up your usual activities at your firm. In addition, I have recently been alerted to an ongoing investigation by a particularly dogged and brilliant agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. She may become a great asset if she can be turned. However, her immediate superior is extremely corrupt and wishes both her and myself a great deal of harm. I'll be handling the matter personally, but may need some information, especially on her superior. All research work, of course. I won't be asking you into the field anytime soon. Adrian. I sigh with relief as I sit back from the bed and breakfast's tiny computer desk. No more worrying about the families or Lucchesi's brother. It's all normal worries for now, my above-board business, my impending marriage, my impending fatherhood. You all right in there, sweetheart? I call out to Atalanta, who has been dealing with morning sickness like a champ, but still has her off days. Just checking the acoustics in the bathroom. She sighs, and I hear the water run. I'm fine. We're fine. Liar. I get her a sports drink and a damp, cool towel. I just want to let you know that Dubois talked to the families. And we're free and clear to return to New York City. I can go back to my job, and you can enjoy your early retirement. I stand outside the bathroom door. Permission to come aboard. Granted, she says, pushing the door open. She's pale and rinsing her mouth out, but looks all right otherwise. Gosh, that is good news though. I was getting really tired of Midwestern diner food. Yeah, well, you can have your bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich as soon as we get back, sweetheart. I come in and kiss her temple, and she smiles and slings an arm around me. I don't think I could stomach all that grease right now anyway, she says regretfully, and I make sympathetic noises and give her a one-armed hug. Sushi? She perks up. Now sushi I miss. Good sushi though, not that truck stop garbage. I eye her. Of course not, what do you take me for? She lets out a little laugh. I'm teasing. So level with me. How wild is your bachelor party going to be? As wild as a party without hard liquor, orgies, or illegal substances can be. Which really sounds a bit boring. But Atalanta has done her part to change her life enough to make parenthood work. She's hung up her guns. It's my turn to give up the things that I can't raise a kid around. And if that means keeping my carousing down to a dull roar, so be it. As a trade-off, after all, I'm getting what I really want. A family I can come home to, who I can wake up to, every day for the rest of my life. And that is definitely worth an even bigger sacrifice than I'm actually making. I give Atalanta a big smile. Let's get packing, sweetheart. I can't wait to get home.
Epilogue. 1 year later.
I wake up at 0:30 to my daughter, crying in her crib. Kieran groans and rolls over beside me. Whose turn is it? He mumbles. Mine, I sigh. I'll get one of her rings and see if she needs a diaper change. Good deal, he yawns and rolls back over with a relieved sigh. I slip out of bed, pulling on a short robe before crossing the hall to our daughter's room. She continues bawling non-stop, while I shuffle to the kitchen to pull a teething ring out of the fridge. Daphne is what Kieran calls a tiny, tough, impatient redhead like her mom. Premature by 2 weeks, she was born fast, is growing fast, and apparently thinks that her mom and dad are way too slow. She's teething 2 whole months early, which means both nipping me and wailing at length over the pain. I'm doing my best to help her through all this discomfort, but she seems furious that she has to go through it, and we're the complaints department. Not going to lie, late pregnancy and early parenthood are a trial, even if you're healthy and have resources and backup. Your body does weird things, and you end up changing in ways that sometimes never quite go back to the way they were. My workout routine helped me bounce back fairly quickly, at least physically. But some changes linger, like how my body still feels different than it used to. There's less energy, more puffiness, and a frustrating lack of mobility that reminds me I'm still recovering. And then there's the exhaustion. Always the exhaustion. Making a baby is work. Caring for one is even more. It's not something to enter into lightly, any more than a serious relationship, or a marriage. But the rewards are amazing. I've never felt more alive. I wish my father were here to see his granddaughter, and his son-in-law who treats us both like gold. It's been a hell of an adjustment for Kieran, mostly in getting his partying down. That caused some snippiness and tension between us, until the baby came, and he fell into full-on daddy infatuation with his firstborn. Now a lot of the same people he used to pour booze into, at his parties every Saturday night, tease him over photos of him with his wife and kid. Domesticated, some of them say. Tamed. He's not tamed. Especially not in bed. We're just quieter about it now. Which sometimes means gagging me or tying him up. We make do. Being parents doesn't mean suddenly becoming celibate. That's a myth we're looking forward to disproving, over and over. Daphne stops yelling as soon as I pop the gel ring into her mouth. She chomps on it savagely, peering up at me with her hazy blue eyes. That better, kid? Let's check under the hood. As I change her, I think about how fast the months have whipped by ever since Lucchesi's death. His brother did not come after us. I don't know what Dubois said to him. The families did not come after us either. I heard that they considered the whole thing a matter of a personal vendetta, and Lucchesi's bad temper. I'm not in debt to Dubois. Kieran is. He went into debt for me and our kid to a crime lord who has fingers in every pie. A debt he can only ever pay or work off, not escape. But I can understand it. He really did save our lives, and gave us our ability to live safely in New York City with our daughter. I just don't trust debts. And in the end, I don't know Dubois. I don't know why he didn't step in more directly. I just know that right now, he's leaving us alone to build our relationship, raise our kid, and live fairly normal lives. I guess I should be grateful, but I'm still wary. The guy's a mystery man, after all. But fortunately, it's a mystery that I don't have to investigate. Let him keep his damn secrets as long as my family is safe.
The end. Sneak peek for Unexpected Ride. We hope you enjoyed listening to The Rogue's Baby by Michelle Love. Now please listen to a sneak peek for Unexpected Ride by Michelle Love and Ivy Wonder. Unexpected Ride, a dark mafia romance. Prologue. Carolyn.
Date, December 29, 2018. Location, Lloyd, New York, 1.5 hours outside of New York City. Subject, Alan Chase. Criminal record, sealed juvenile record. No adult record. Suspected in 34 separate grand theft auto cases in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Routinely dismissed due to lack of evidence. Subject has never been successfully detained or incarcerated. I sit back from my laptop screen and stretch, my back popping. I'm stiff from driving and sick of bad weather. It's only an hour and a half from the New York field office on a good day, but I just spent 3 hours bumper to bumper on 9W in the pouring rain. I'm here because my boss hates me, the talented and ambitious new transfer, enough to send me on a wild goose chase after criminals so good they've never left behind enough evidence or witnesses to implicate them. All 5 are behind a laundry list of crimes, but we've never been able to make any charges stick. I have a hit list of 5 subjects countrywide, and Alan Chase is first on it. At least he's only a thief. Never violent, just skilled, sneaky. There are men that are guilty of far worse than car theft, especially number 5. But I don't want to think about him. Focus on our roadrunner here. Alan Chase is an impeccable thief. Not to mention a world-class driver. He could give NASCAR racers a run for their money, according to the one Long Island cop who tried to chase him on the interstate. I never even got close to his bumper. The guy swam through the traffic and the wind and the rain like a damn fish up a stream. He just knew where the holes in the flow of traffic would open up. He didn't endanger anyone, either. Caused a few fender benders by startling people, but he never knocked into anyone to block my way, didn't drive wrong way through any areas, never touched the shoulder. He was just gone. I wasn't even able to follow enough to catch it all on dash cam, let alone get a look at his face. I get up to do a few floor poses for my back and mix up a batch of instant coffee. The old brick hotel has radiators that clank and tick constantly and an elevator that rattles. It sounded like it was going to expire when I brought up my baggage. But it's a lot cozier than the drafty apartment I share with 2 roommates in Brooklyn. Guess I'm spending my New Year's working again. But that's all right. No family to go home to anyway. Alan Chase has been living in Lloyd for 3 months according to his latest landlord. He likely is involved in the uptick in auto thefts. So I'm stuck here spying on him until we catch him at something, or he moves on. I bring up Chase's photo gallery and frown at his smiling face on my screen. Cute. Roguish grin, kind of scruffy. Dark auburn hair, dark brows, light brown eyes with a touch of red to them, like sunlight through glasses of sherry. Lean-jawed, athletic but raw-looking. The kind of guy that lives in jeans. Attractive but not my type. One of the 5 I'm chasing is, but I'm trying not to think about him. If I'm vigilant, smart and lucky, I'll catch my roadrunner in Lloyd. Otherwise, he'll duck back over the Canadian border to hide, and my boss Daniels will shuffle me off after the next guy after a round of demeaning lectures. Derek Daniels is a bullying jerk with no use for women who won't sleep with him. He sent me out here to confirm that I don't have what it takes to be in the FBI. I've come here to show he is wrong. I'm in place. I have contacts, cash for bribes, leads, and a profile. Now, I just have to wait for Chase to make a mistake. Preferably a big one.
Chapter 1. Alan.
I've got a weakness for Ford LTDs. It's completely stupid, I know. But when my grandpa retired, he came home with a Ford LTD Crown Royal he had driven for his cover job, and I loved that car. It was huge, powerful, and drove like a dream. I learned to drive in that blue Limited. Grandpa's father used to run booze over the border from Canada, and had taught him how to drive that big boat of a car like a bat out of hell. Behind its wheel, he taught me everything he knew, and then left it to me in his will, and I drove it for 10 years. Subsequently, some drunken creep T-boned it while it was parked. The sound practically knocked me out of bed by itself. Shattering glass, tearing metal, the death cry of a damn good car. The maniac was doing 90. Wrecked both cars and almost got himself killed. Apparently, he thought the Limited belonged to the guy hooking up with his girlfriend. Why would anyone look for love elsewhere, with such a model of loving stability like that guy waiting for her at home? Yikes. That was the one and only time that my real name ended up on a police report. The law has been after me in several cities, but they never know exactly who they are looking for. I'm a ghost. A ghost who drives like a demon. Tonight I have my sights on a top-of-the-line Ford LTD Crown Victoria, restored from the mid-1980s. Black instead of the dark blue I remember, but just as elegant and enormous. Chrome trim, a bench backseat roomy enough for just about anything, no risk of bumping your head. 2 big, greasy-looking guys from the city just left her at the far corner of the diner parking lot, and I'm ambling over there now to have a closer look. The key to going unnoticed late at night is to act casual and relaxed, like you belong. I'm just another guy strolling out of the diner in a hipster watch cap and skinny gray jacket, my hair tucked up out of sight and black-framed glasses covering my eyes. I picked the outfit at a Goodwill a month ago. I always go incognito when I'm looking for a car to steal. I hadn't planned to take one right out of a parking lot, but for another ride in my favorite kind of car, I'm tempted to risk it. At least nobody will remember details about me that I can't instantly change. It's a freezing night. My breath steams through the gap in my upturned collar as I cross the parking lot. There's a huge patch of black ice in the middle of the blacktop. I skirt around it nimbly and move on. Maybe I shouldn't take the car. It's still technically in view of the cafe windows. But it's more than nostalgia telling me to take it. Something in my gut is telling me too. I notice that the car's lights are on. Wait, you've got to be kidding me. The car's rumbling away, exhaust pipe steaming, heater on, and Frank Sinatra playing on a good stereo. The keys are in the damn ignition. It's as if they deliberately left it running, so it would keep warm. This means they're getting a takeout order, and will be back in very few minutes. Think fast, Chase. I go for it. Without breaking stride, I walk around to the driver's side, open the door with one gloved hand, get in, shut the door, and check around for any surprises. There's a tough purple suitcase shoved onto the back seat. What's in the trunk that they're using passenger space for luggage? I sling my Goodwill backpack next to it. I buckle in and back up smoothly, just like it's my car, and I'm pulling out to drive home. Nothing to see here, everything's perfectly normal. I drive casual, not too fast, not too slow, keeping away from the patch of black ice. I make it through the parking lot, and maneuver the Limited's front end is into traffic to make the turn, when I hear a shout. In the rearview mirror, I see two fat goons lumbering out in my direction, coats flapping open, gripping white takeout bags and pistols, the glints of chrome warning me. Oh hell. One fires and I lurch forward into traffic, hearing the bullet ping off the frozen asphalt. My wheels slip on the icy road, before catching a patch of sand and jolting forward. Another bullet follows, whamming off the back bumper. Damn it. Cars in the road stop short for me. Nobody wants to argue with a giant old steel-framed car lunging into traffic. I hit the slick road and spin the wheel just enough. The Ford makes the turn, and the light changes at the corner and locks up traffic on every side. Are you kidding me? Trapped, I turn my worried eyes back to the parking lot. The two argue, one forcing the other one's gun arm down like he doesn't want his car shot up. I can't blame him, especially since I don't want more bullets coming my way. Come on, I mutter, counting down the seconds until the light changes. It would be an ugly way to die, holed out over a mid-range sedan that hasn't been a hot property since the late 90s. They notice I'm trapped, and start running as fast as they can across the parking lot. Staring at them in horror, I'm sunk. Even if I abandon the car and run across 4 lanes of traffic, I will be in reach of their bullets. Chase, you're an idiot. This was a really bad idea. Then a miracle happens. One I probably don't deserve right now. They run out onto that big patch of black ice without noticing it. The first guy hits it with the heel of his fancy wingtips and does an awkward split, yelling in alarm and accidentally firing into the air. The second guy can't stop in time and crashes into him. They both go down in a heaving tangle. And I finally remember to blink. Bye, boys. I bark out a laugh as the light changes and the traffic shifts. I ease onto the accelerator as space opens up, and suddenly I'm free. The road is my home. 4 wheels on the blacktop, enough room to maneuver, and a good car. That's my idea of comfort. And even after years without one, being in a Limited really feels like I belong. I drive all the way out of Lloyd, not chancing a stop within city limits. I have no idea who those guys were or why they had guns, but it was pretty damn clear they were guarding either the car or something in it. The suitcase? Or maybe whatever is filling up the trunk. The contents are probably valuable. I could use a good score before winter really sets in. It started late this year, aside from one big blizzard in mid-November. A little extra capital would be nice before I shut down until next year. I'm 20 miles upstate when the Limited's gas meter starts edging toward empty. The nearest town, West Camp, is a few miles off yet, a collection of houses around a church, a few shops and a gas station connected to an all-night cafe. I'll unfortunately need to ditch this vehicle, knowing that livid armed men are looking for it. Best to dump it at the edge of town and use another way back to Lloyd. After I find whatever those guys were guarding, anyway. I park the Limited in a lot near the end of town. It's late enough that nobody's around except for the cafe and gas station, blazing with an inviting light. That's good. I need coffee and a warm place to wait for my ride. First things first, though. I check the suitcase. It smells of some delicate, expensive perfume, and I find a travel bottle, which is of blue enameled gold in the shape of a peacock. This suitcase belongs to a wealthy young woman who is either really attractive or thinks she is. There's a half-dozen posh, sensual outfits, silk, mostly in shades of blue, including some lingerie for a curvy, busty woman. Not much jewelry, but what's in there would pay rent on my apartment for a few months. A heavy lined wool winter coat and a pair of surprisingly sensible leather knee boots take up the entire other side. Wow. Who did you steal this from? I mutter, checking my peripherals before turning back to the case. My fingers trace the fabric lining, encountering several rectangular lumps. Those are bundles of cash, I'm sure. The smaller lumps feel like more jewelry. Smuggling? Or someone's personal stash? Good news for me either way. Finders keepers. I close the back door and go around to pop the trunk. If they left a jackpot like that in plain view, how valuable is what they hid back here? This could end up being one hell of a payoff. Maybe even worth almost getting killed for? I walk back and pull the trunk lid open. The tiny light pops on. I stand there blinking for a moment, staring down. A large canvas laundry bag, the heavy kind you can drag 4 loads in, fills almost the whole space. The curled shape inside sets off alarm bells in the back of my head, especially since instead of the smell of dirty laundry, the delicate scent of that same perfume wafts at me. Oh crap! I start untying the heavy rope fastening the bag like a giant drawstring, and tug the bag opening to loosen it. Almost at once, something makes my heart sink even further, a soft tuft of strawberry blonde hair. Please don't be a cadaver. I undo the bag further, and tug it down over her face. Please be alive. I didn't even know you were back here. She's beautiful. Soft features go with the lustrous hair and full lips. She's maybe 20? Her cheeks have color. She breathes. Oh holy crap. Okay. You really scared me for a minute there, lady. I free her from the bag. She's dressed in leather pants and jacket with a silk blouse underneath. She stirs. I notice a small bruise on the side of her neck, centered around on a red mark. An injection site. No wonder she was so still and quiet. She's drugged. Maybe just coming out of it with the cold air hitting her. Hey, I pat the side of her sweet face. Hey, wake up, we've got to move. Kidnapping? They were kidnapping her. No way. I just rescued a loaded kidnapping victim. That's promising. Maybe not as promising as walking off with her stuff, but a guy like me always needs more rich friends. Especially if they are heartbreakingly beautiful and owe me big time. I take her by her shoulders and shake her gently. She stirs, frowning in her sleep, and lets out a soft sigh. That's better. Come on back now. I know you're sleepy. I'm starting to worry. The sooner we get out of here, the better. This car might have a low jack on it. They may be on their way right now to get their damn car back. And kill me, of course. I leave her to awaken as I grab my backpack and quickly change my outer clothes. I shake my hair loose and replace it with a fleece-lined deerstalker, like a lot of the locals wear. The terribly tight jacket gets replaced by a heavy red plaid coat. When I get back to her, she's fallen back asleep again. Damn it, sweetie, this is not good, I grumble, scooping her out of the trunk and setting her rounded butt on its edge. She sags forward. I hold her up by the shoulders. Her eyelids flutter, and then fly open. She stares at me in shock and confusion. She looks quickly around, her sky-blue eyes enormous. What? She gasps, her faint Brooklyn accent sharpening the word. Shush, please don't scream, it's okay. What can I say to calm her down? You're being rescued. Her mouth closes and she blinks, shaking her head to clear it. Who are you? That's a long story. I'll tell you the whole thing once we get out of here.
Chapter 2. Melissa.
Look, it seems you don't like the guy, Melissa, but your dad is not giving you a choice in this. Sorry. I got to do what I'm told, same as you. That's Benny, big and friendly, always practical. He's the nicer of the two my dad sent after me. The other is Dave, quiet, cold, thoughtful. Scary. Enzo tried to take advantage of me, Benny. He wouldn't even wait until we married. He's got 2 other brothers. If Dad wants me with the Costellos, why not one of them? I look between them, pleading my case as quietly as my panic will let me. How did they find me? I was so careful. I took the bus, paid cash for everything, wore clothes I'd never normally wear. All this leather. I look like someone trying way too hard to disappear, and for what? They found me not even 2 hours out of the city, and now they're going to drag me home. Drugged. Whatever they shot me up with is already kicking in. It's not my call, but I will mention this to your father. Still, you know how he is. Enzo Costello's going to be your future husband. He'll probably be a lot nicer once you're married. He's just enthusiastic because you're attractive. His calm, friendly tone never wavers. The other one's staring at me, aware but uncaring, like a cat. Please don't, I beg one last time. But it's too late. Benny has brought a laundry cart with an empty bag inside, and I can't move. I'm sobbing in terror as they put me in the bag. When I open my eyes again, I think I'm dreaming. A stranger's propping me up on the edge of a car trunk, in the cold air. We're somewhere upstate, it's dark, with the smell of pine trees and snow on the wind. The man's not Italian. He's hot, tall, dark-haired, and a little scruffy. He has light eyes. I can't place the color of them in the dimness. He's smiling with relief, as I try to get my focus back. What's your name? He asks. Melissa, I mumble, not giving my last name. Everybody knows it. You can call me Chase. He looks me over, gaze lingering on my face. Look, I don't know who those guys were that kidnapped you, but we need to get your stuff and ditch this car. Can you walk? I hesitate. My legs almost feel steady enough now that the cold is slapping me awake, but I have no idea who this guy is. I think so. But we need to get all my stuff out of the car before we ditch it, or they'll know where I'm running to. My stuff and something of Benny's that he always keeps in the glove compartment. Grab the suitcase? I ask. In case he has a gun, I want to keep his hands busy. Sure, I'll wrangle it for you. Do you have someone you can call? His tone is so innocent that I have to choke back my bitter laugh. No, I sigh as I get up, leaning heavily on the car, and make my way around to the passenger side. Nobody close, anyway. Marcel and Amélie are waiting for me in Montreal. They offered me a place to stay when I made a run for the Canadian border. They have no idea that I picked Montreal because Dad is terrified of the crime family that controls the city. The less they know about my problems, the safer we'll all be. I have to make sure that my father never knows the names of the friends that are helping me. My phone is full of our conversations, and Benny took it. He stashed it in the glove compartment. I have to get my phone. Then we can go. Do you have a way out of town? I'm working on that. We can wait at the cafe until my ride back to Lloyd gets here. I hear his soft grunt as he pulls my suitcase out of the back. He's so friendly and cheerful, but not like Benny. He sounds baffled, like he's still getting used to the idea that he found a woman in the trunk. So either he's a very good actor, or he's genuinely shocked to have found me. I pull the side door open and unlatch the glove compartment. My phone slides off a pile of old folded maps and spills into my hand. Then the holstered .38 revolver tucked behind it slides out too. I catch it. It's heavy in my hand. It's been a season since I fired one, but I'm not planning to do so now. I just need answers. He comes around with the suitcase in his hands and the start of a sentence on his lips, and then he just blinks at me holding the gun. I don't hold it on him directly, but I don't hold it away from him either. I'm sorry, but I just got drugged and stuffed in a trunk by mobsters, and I'm not in a trusting mood. How do you fit into all of this? Chase is blinking at me in shock, like I totally destroyed my own image. This clearly isn't a violent guy. Come on, don't make me point this at you. I actually hate guns, I sigh. Me too. Oh well, the simple answer is, I stole the car. He smiles awkwardly as he keeps his hands in view, which makes him look even cuter. What? I lower the gun slightly, and he relaxes. This guy isn't used to having guns held on him. You stole Benny's car? Yeah, okay. He winces. I stole the car, got out of Lloyd, and then realized you were in the back and set you free. Who the hell is Benny? I'm not ready to get into that atrocious story yet. I'm an inch from crying. I'll ask the questions. Do you have a secure place in Lloyd? Yeah, my house. He looks at me worriedly. What are you planning? I need to shake these guys off. You just stole from them, so you need to shake them off too. I think about it a moment longer, then holster the gun and tuck it into the back of my leather pants. Is hiding out in Lloyd part of your plan? Until things cool off, yeah. He looks increasingly worried, despite my putting the gun away. Look, I don't mean to pry into your business, but what kind of trouble are you running from here? I look at Chase for a few moments and then sigh. Not here. Let's go someplace warm and wait for your ride. The cafe is a 1950s revival burger shop. I change into my wool coat before heading there, and cover my hair with his watch cap. My new friend suggested the change of clothes. He's done this car theft thing before. A lot. He pulls out a cheap smartphone and starts texting as we walk down the windswept street toward the open cafe. You never told me what I'm rescuing you from, Chase reminds me. Or why you want to hide out at my place. Look, I'll give you the short form now. My dad's a monster. He wants me to marry another monster. Those two guys you ditched work for him. My lips start trembling, and I press them together. I really don't want to cry around this guy. Monster or mobster? He asks quietly. Tears spring to my eyes and I take a sad, shivery breath. Both, I mumble. Okay. You're still drugged, you don't know me, let's get you collected and warmed up. He touches my shoulder and I suppress another surge of tears. I didn't expect anybody to step in, even by accident, I admit. I'm still stunned. Yeah, that's logical. I'm still surprised to find you. That awkward laugh. Boyish but gentle. I like him. And not just because he saved me. Or because he's actually really attractive. What's your plan for getting us out of here? I ask urgently. Dad's men probably won't expect you to double back to Lloyd. Yeah, they never do. He scratches his chin. A wrecker is coming for the car, and another coming for us. ETA, half an hour. A wrecker? Tell your guy to look for a LoJack. I worry, and he nods, texting for another moment. It's all right, the guy's a pro and he'll deal with it. He tucks the phone back in his pocket. You really need to hide out somewhere? The look I give him is probably pretty desperate. Just for the night. I can't get to the other place right now. Gun or no gun, I'm working on trusting him. If he's a non-violent thief, one thing will convince him: the cash I'm stashing. I can pay you. His gaze flicks over me and that awkward smile returns. Okay then, Melissa. $1,000 a night, you follow my instructions and tell me the full story of what's going on. He'd probably suggest something else too, but he's gentleman enough not to bring it. That says good things about him by itself. How will he react to the whole story? Maybe he'll even be outraged, like Marcel was when I told him what Enzo did? That would be a nice change of pace. Done. So what's the plan? Now that I'm away from my father's goons, I have a few options for traveling anonymously to the border. But another idea is forming in my head. How nice is this guy? How good a driver? And how interested is he in money? We sit tight for a while, things cool down, you move on. He sighs. And I retire for the season. You mean from stealing cars? That and some courier work, anything involving driving a lot. It's not all that workable in the snow, so I take winters off. I'm thinking fast as we reach the cafe. Can I interest you in one more delivery job before you shut down for the year? We go quiet until we're seated, and the chubby waitress has taken our coffee orders and sailed off. What did you have in mind? He asks. I look up at him, and pause, taken aback by the color of his eyes now that we're in good light. They're golden brown with a faint copper overtones, quite jewel-like. I need to make a delivery to Montreal within the next few days. I can get a message to my friends and let them know I'm running late. What's the package? He asks as he examines the menu. I don't even look at mine. I'm too queasy from the drug hangover to eat. I put on the bravest smile. Me?
Chapter 3. Alan.
So she wants a lift to Montreal? It's not my first border run. The last guy was running from the cops, not the mob. Less rules, more danger. As I'm mulling this over, the burner phone buzzes. I check the screen. Marty is messaging me back. I'm here. Check for the LJ first, it'll be high-end. If this is a mobster's car, it may have more nasty surprises than just a tracking device. And that's bad enough. I look back up at Melissa. I can do that, but let's talk over the specifics and lay some ground rules. This will cost you. I keep my eyes on her face. My gaze keeps trying to graze the front of her coat, like I'm hoping to see through the layers of wool and leather. My judgment is weird right now. It's not every damn night you get to rescue a drugged, kidnapped, and very attractive woman who is running from the mob. From her father, the mob boss, I should say. Oh yeah, honey, if I'm sheltering you from your dad and taking you across the border, you're going to pay a lot more than $1,000 a night. But only in cash. She's super attractive, and the shy way she looks at me piques my interest. Even if I'm risking my neck for her, some things are given, never earned. That's not going to stop me from getting as much as possible in the cash department, though. Call it hazard pay. My phone beeps again. Found it. It's got some extra wiring. Should I deactivate? I stiffen slightly. No. Is it on the inside of the bumper? Yes, the back one. Why? Don't mess with the extra wires. Don't deactivate. Just remove the whole back bumper and leave it right there. What's wrong? She asks me softly as she perches her chin on the backs of her wrists. Cute but not flirtatious. Her eyes are dull with exhaustion. You were right about the low jack. He's leaving it behind without deactivating it. He found some other wires. You told him not to mess with them? Her voice lowers uncomfortably. Yeah. Don't worry, he's not completely clueless. Stealing vehicles for a living, you need ways of unloading them without leaving a trail behind. I leave city limits, hand the keys to a transport guy disguised as a car wrecker, and have him tow it after paying me my advance. The rest of my cut comes afterwards. Our coffee comes, and I order us both a slice of apple pie. Just try it, I ask her gently, more than troubled about her drug hangover. Okay, she murmurs. I check my phone. No more complications, comes the message. You'll only get $1,000 on this. Send it after, I reply. Thanks for coming out in the cold. See you in the spring. No problem, brother. Happy New Year. Okay, the tow's handled, I said quietly and grabbed my coffee. I was pretty glad I wouldn't be driving on the way back. Our ride should be here in about 10 minutes. We'll meet him outside. The pie's pretty good, tasting more of actual apples and spices than sugar. Melissa nibbles on hers doggedly, her eyes enormous and vulnerable despite the gun in the back of her pants. I know she hung onto it because she doesn't know me, and I don't blame her, but when she pulled it on me, it put a hell of a chill down my spine. I don't do guns. I know gun safety, how to aim, fire, and fix one. But I hate them. I have actually seen what they can do, and I don't mess with them. The only thing not freaking me out about the fact that she pulled one on me is that she seemed eager to put it away. I still can't believe this is happening, she mumbles. She's holding back tears again. I've watched her fight them off since she opened her eyes. You mean that you escaped? I drain the last of my mug and set it down at the edge of the table. She nods. Yeah, I almost gave up. I should thank you. Well, I lean forward to look her in the eyes. You're welcome. I sure as hell hope someone else would do the same for me. Why do I give so much of a damn about this girl? She's paying me to look after her, maybe even get her to the border. She's had a shitty time, but I'm a thief, not a saint. Getting tangled up with her, mainly emotionally, will be hazardous. She sips at her coffee and then sets it down, dumping a lot of sugar and cream into it. Too strong, she murmurs. Assume that your freedom's permanent. The more I think about it, the more it pisses me off. Who does this crap to their own daughter? Fear will drain you, and believe me, if you want a ride, you're hiring the best. Going to cost you, though. I can pay whatever you ask, she says with quiet confidence. I just need to get to my friends. It would really be nice to start the winter a step closer to prosperous. What are you thinking? The waitress comes by to pour my refill, and Melissa busies herself picking at her pie. With her glorious hair tucked up and her body hidden in the coat, she looks like a child, big-eyed and vulnerable. She swipes a figure into her phone and slides it across to me. I take it. My eyes widen. $500K. Off goes the waitress again, and I blink at her. There's got to be a story behind why it's that much. Yeah. But I'm not spilling the whole thing until we're alone. She tucks her phone back in her purse and looks up at me. Okay? I nod. Sounds fair. The more I think about this, the more it sounds like hazard pay. Just who the heck is her father? Just so you know, I tell Melissa when we walk out of the cafe. The driver has no idea what is going on. He's been fed a cover story. We're a married couple going back to Lloyd. You're not feeling well. I'm not, she admits quietly. I wonder what they shot me up with. Drink a lot of water and sports drinks to flush your system. I suspect it was a heavy sedative. Make sense? Almost feels like the stuff they give you at the dentist. That always leaves me queasy. Her foot slips on the icy sidewalk, and I grab her arm quickly. She catches her breath and gets her feet steadied. Thanks? No problem. A burgundy SUV is idling at the corner. That's us. Let's get you settled. The driver's got an Uber tag in the corner of his dash, and Melissa gives me a startled look. Come on, sweetheart, I reassure, getting into character as I move up to greet the driver. We're almost home. She's still wary of me. I'm still wary of her. But I'll take a risk for a good cause, especially for $500,000.
End of sneak peek for Unexpected Ride. Please like and subscribe to support this channel, it helps more than you know.